Yes. What's up, everybody? Thank you guys for tuning in. I am VA Verse. Sitting next to me is my beautiful, wonderful wife, smiling as usual, Z.
And you are listening to For Better or Worse. Hi, guys.
So we have a very special guest in the building tonight. You might hear our other special guests in the background from time to time, playing in the background. But we have the Jameses. Is it Jameses? Do you say Jameses or the James?
James.
We have Ray and Shawn James in the building with us.
Yes, my brother is here, and our lovely sister is here as well. Say hello, guys.
Hello.
They're a little nervous, but we'll warm things up in just a moment. Hello to all of our international people who listen to us, our London and France, our Germany. Hello, everyone.
And Sweden and Australia.
We appreciate you guys.
And the one listen in Japan. We love you.
We love you guys. He's setting this up. Okay, so how's everyone doing today?
We're good.
Good. So we're always going to start off with our game, and then we will get knee deep into y'all's business. All right. Sir, are you ready?
I am.
Okay. So as you all know, whenever we have a couple, we will start off with our game. Mm-hmm. So we have already asked our questions previously. You can pick your cards up.
Oh, okay. And fingers crossed.
It goes smoothly.
We know y'all believe in us, that we're going to go smoothly.
Believe in you. Yeah. Very confident with these answers.
Me too.
So do you want us to go first, or do you want them to show theirs and then we go second?
Yeah, we're going to have them go first.
All right, cool.
So want to keep in mind that we got there, people are listening, so we want to make sure we speak our answers when we say it, when we show them.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
All right.
So our first question was, who has the shortest temper? So Ray or Shawn, which one would you like to go first?
I'll go first. I would say Ray.
Okay.
Okay.
Right.
You guys you can flip them over.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I would say me.
Okay.
Yep. I have the shortest temper.
Gotcha.
So this
and it's not even that short.
It's extremely short. No.
This might be something that comes from Ramona.
DNA?
Yeah. I'm going to say Simone.
It's definitely me.
Yeah.
Definitely. It's DNA all day.
I would totally say that's DNA.
Alrighty. Our second question was, who is more stubborn?
I said we're equally stubborn.
I did too. I pretty much.
We're dealing with some professionals here.
Yeah. Different reasons, but it's pretty equal.
So it's like when you have your stance, it's just like, no.
Yeah.
Right.
Gotcha.
Right.
I will say though that we do listen to each other, so we can sway each other kind of thing. But other than that, we're pretty stubborn.
Okay.
No, we like it this way, and this is how we like it.
Gotcha. All right, you ready?
Yeah.
All right.
I actually would have chose that answer because I like that, but I put me.
I put me.
We probably would have benefited more from that answer. Yeah, because you guys are right. Like it's certain things. Because I was like, Simone will be like, if I say her, she gonna be like, nah, bro. Stubborn. Because I got my things I'm stubborn about, and so does she.
True that. Okay, so number 3 was, who would you say is the better gift giver?
So I'm gonna say first.
Okay.
And I'm gonna say Shawn is. Shawn is totally the better gift giver.
I said me.
And I'm gonna have to agree. Ray, I love you to death.
It is what it is. I know.
It's a little, you used to be like, okay, hold on, what was the thought behind this?
Yes.
But once you get the thought, then you just like, oh, I loved it. Like the time you gave me the gnome, I was like, what in the hell? Okay.
I love the gnome.
Why? But then when you were just like, oh, it's so cool, and it's so this and it's so that, I was like, oh, it's great. And then I loved it. See?
Yeah.
You gotta get the thought behind it.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay. Sir, who would you say?
I'm gonna go me.
No, it is definitely me, and that's what I put. Me and you both know it's me, but it's okay.
No.
You know, it's okay.
Nah,
Kind of in front of the people.
It's definitely me.
Okay, so number 4 is, what frightens your spouse the most?
I'm going first.
Yeah. Because I can hear it, and if
It's heights. It's It's the freeway overpass. It's anything way up high.
Really?
Shawn is like, it's so funny because we're literally driving on it, and the first thing she does, she just looks at me, and I'm like, what's the matter?
Well, it's funny. The kids just asked about this a
Yes.
few weeks ago. Leah asked, and she asked me what scares me. And like, Leah, it's the freeways. Like, and I started talking about the 303. I'm like, why does it have to be so high?
Didn't someone fly off of there? Is that the
They
same
fly
one?
off the 17
Yeah.
repeatedly.
Yeah, that's the
and
one.
they're survived, but I see the tire marks on the wall.
Yep.
Like,
Yeah.
I get you're going too fast, but like, I don't want to fall over.
Yeah. So she
yeah,
doesn't
it's
look.
like a
She doesn't look at the
panic attack.
road.
She's be looking at you. You better drive right.
Those overpasses are high. The 17 one is really high.
That
The
303
303 is really high
ridiculous.
too.
Yeah, when you see it, and you're like, oh my.
Y'all should try driving over them in like the big truck like I drive at work. Like it's, drive like 3 steps into.
Yeah.
It's crazy because you could just see completely over it. It's like, man, if this thing tipped over, I would be over.
Yeah.
I hate them things.
So he was right.
Yes,
Alrighty.
100%. The movie Alien. He's terrified and believes honestly
Yes.
it's coming to get him.
It's coming to get me. It's coming to get me.
You're correct.
You're 100% right. Yeah. Pretty much anything alien related, I swear, is coming to get me. Yeah.
We used to tease him all the time when we were younger. It's like, right? Alien.
Yeah. Well, like we may have to leave that for another show one time or something like that, but I swear I had an experience. And so it's just, I'm not even playing. I
don't even know this story. Yeah, we went
So no, it's stuff like that scares me. Like,
yeah, gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay, sir.
You are definitely afraid of thunderstorms.
And water.
Well, I knew the water thing.
Yes, I don't
That's a whole
know.
nother
Like
conversation too.
before the coronas, when he would be at the radio station and I would lightning all day. I'm just like, oh, that's so nice, it's pretty. Let him call him quick. Did you hear that? Did you hear the thunder? Kids be in the bed with me. I'm like, okay, we just gonna be sitting up in here because Virginia has loud thunder. Like it'll crack real. I just don't like it. Okay, and I said wasps and hummingbirds.
Yes, I do remember the hummingbird thing now.
Yeah.
I do remember the hummingbird thing.
Y'all, I'm gonna tell you this. Rail went to the door the other day to get a box because Amazon probably knows us personally. And he opened the door and all I heard was, oh my God, and it slammed.
Oh, shit.
You would not have thought. I thought somebody, the way he said it, I thought someone came in. Like I thought we was being invaded. I was like, oh my gosh, what happened? He was like, oh my God, it's a big ass wasp.
Yeah, he was trying to come in. He was trying to come in, and all I could see as he was trying to come in was when he gets in here, I have to kill him.
Yeah.
I have to kill him.
Yes.
So I was just like, oh shit! It was one of those big black ones. And whilst I hate the way they look, because their body looks like it's not attached to each other, it just looks like floating pieces flying at you. And it was one of those big black ones with the yellow legs. He was ready. He was like, I think this is nice. I think I'm gonna come check this one out.
Scared us to death.
Yeah, because they were scared because the doorbell rung. It was somebody dropping off a package. So the doorbell rung. All they hear is me opening the door and saying, "Oh shit!"
Yeah,
and then closing the door. And Lyric was right behind me. I knocked her down.
Complete. So she came in there. Oh, my leg, my arm. Sure. Very dramatic.
Right.
Yes, she had to get a hug from everybody in the house. Ridiculous. Okay, so our very last question is, what color is your sausage rolls today?
So I'm going way out and guessing because I have no idea. I'm going to guess dark blue.
This is going to be a no. No. They're gray. They're actually Ren and Stimpy.
Oh, let's see. There's no way I would have known that.
It is what it is. I'm going to guess purple.
And that's also a no.
I figured.
I was about to say, that's too easy.
Well, the woman has multiple colors of purple. So everything is light purple, dark purple.
Yeah. No purple today.
No purple today. Okay, that's fine.
All
Good
right.
question though.
What kind of drawers do I have on today?
Brown.
No. No, first of all, don't make it seem like on air that I'm the doo-doo lady. Like, why would my drawers be brown?
No,
They're
just
actually
guess.
striped.
Just guess.
And yours are gray. One, because I knew that.
see
And I
right
can
now.
see them.
You can see them.
I can see them very well. But I knew that this
Okay.
morning.
That's-
All right. So that was our icebreaker, guys. You guys did great. And we got through the game without any
we did.
confusion. Woo woo.
We did.
All right.
Yes.
James's. Now, time to get knee deep. So, how did you guys meet?
Who wants to start? I'll start.
Okay.
So basically, what's the best way of putting it? So, I was feeling real lonely, real lonely, real sad, and I was sitting at a friend's house, and I kept meeting these girls that were crazy, little deranged, little twisted,
Crazy.
and just
Deranged.
yes, absolutely. And I'm just like, there's just no one there for me. And I had already come to the conclusion that I was going to go somewhere in Tibet and live like a monk. I was so serious. I meant that was going to be it. And so we had recently lost my mom. And so I had gotten contact with a good friend. I don't know, can I say
If you
names?
want to.
Oh, her name is Donna, and she's amazing. And so I called her up and I just said, hey, do you know anybody that is sane and that is really looking for someone? And she said, Ray, are you serious? And I said, yes. And she said, hold on. And she said, she was rustling some stuff around, and she says, okay, I'm going to call you back. And it was just click. And I was like, okay, I don't know what this means. Like,
Right.
now I'm nervous. And then she calls me back, and she says, hey, here's this phone number. Her name is Shawn. I need you to call her in 5 minutes because I literally called her.
What
She was
the
in the shower.
hell?
And so I said, okay. So I'm sitting there with this friend, and I'm just like, should I? Does this look desperate? Like, how desperate should I be? And so, so I did call, and she actually didn't get into the shower as of yet. And we sat there and we talked for at least an hour, right? All about like just everything. And then tell me when you want me to stop. Tell me when
So before y'all continue, so this was one of those talks where you're on the phone, then you lay down, and then you're upside down on the phone, and then you just be like, oh, so y'all was just really in
Really
like
first
doing
conversation.
Like the 15-year-old
Yeah.
talk line.
Yep.
Okay, so put a pin there. When Donna called you about to go wash your butt, and she calls you, what was your first thought?
So prior
is
to
good.
Donna calling me, I had gone on quite a few blind dates, and they were literally blind dates. Like, I'm walking out the restaurant on you. I'm going home changing my phone number. Don't ever call me again. I'm through. It was literally ridiculous. I think at one point Donna even sent me out on a blind date with a friend of hers. So I thought, and it was the same thing. I walked out, said, Donna, I thought we were better than this. Sent me out with hot mess.
So, example, like, what was like one of the craziest dates that you have gone on?
I'll do it.
There was this guy.
hilarious. I
Again,
love this.
he was a friend of mine's, and she says he's a single dad. You guys have a lot in common because I had daughter, previous relationship, and so we agreed to meet at a restaurant, and he immediately starts telling me how the world revolves around him. And it was, I'm from Philly, and all the girls want me, and he's popping his collar all night.
What the hell?
Once the girls find out I'm from Philly, I hope you can handle all that, because I'm a lot to be, handled. I'm like, I'm through. I can't. Yeah.
You left him in the restaurant.
I left him
Thank
in the
you, because it's
restaurant.
like, what the hell's wrong with
And
you?
then it even got scary.
What about the one guy that was like in the basement?
So that was the one Donna sent me
Oh,
out with.
God,
This
jeez.
guy.
He lived in the
He was in a domestic. It's not funny. He was in a domestic violence situation. He was the victim. The problem was when he left his wife, he moved in with some friends who basically Quasimodo'd him to the basement. He wasn't allowed to mingle with the house or the family or anything. He could leave to go to work. And that was it. He goes back home to his basement. So
You a grown man.
yeah. So I was like,
Set me
no,
up real
no.
Exactly. Like I look like a king
I
right
look
now.
like awesome.
That
you
was
know?
who Donna sent me out with. Then she calls me and says, hey, I know this guy, Ray. I'm like, Donna, get off of my phone. I'm through with you. Then she starts laughing and said, you did this to me. I'm done. And before I got in the shower, me and Yana were latch hooking. We were literally quilting like 80-year-old ladies. And she calls, says, I have this phone number, this guy named Ray. I'm like, nope, not interested. And she says, Sean, I promise, it's going to be different this time. So I said, okay, fine, so be it. So by the time Ray talked, Ray cracked me up from minute one when he started telling me his backstories. And he told me story after story where I thought I was going to laugh myself to death. So then I started thinking, well, okay, this isn't going to be that bad. Mm-hmm. We had different schedules going on, so it took us at least a month before we even got to meet each other.
We never
face
met
to face.
for a month.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing
But
phone
you guys
calls.
would still call each other and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Called
And this was
constantly.
what year was this? I don't want you guys to date yourselves. But
It was
I wanna
2003.
You think it's 2000? 2000.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I think
2003.
2003 text messaging? No.
Oh.
Not
Yeah,
yet.
the
A couple
phones
more
were
years.
The phones were still analog.
Yeah, a couple
So
more
we were
years.
we were able to text analog, and I think none of us had phones that worked that well.
Mm-hmm.
So, and you had the phone where
Oh, God.
we were still paying for minutes, so I could only call him after 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
Yep.
Minutes is
I-
free.
I was on a very tight budget. Like
Gotcha.
Seven
Very
7
tight.
p.m. That one.
Yep. I was like, just call me up 7.
Okay.
So when you guys first met, where'd you guys meet up at?
So, yes, you,
Let's do this one. This was my fault.
and this is absolutely not funny.
So we were kind of both on the west side and everything, right? And so it's if you're in Arizona, if you've been here for a while, you know that there was a movie theater that was like 67th and Indian School, right? It's not there anymore. Thomas?
Yeah.
It is Thomas.
Uh-huh.
Thomas, because of happy food and everything.
Gotcha.
Yes, got it. All right, so we meet there, and I was
Tell the
talking to.
truth.
Okay, so I was talking to my friend, and I was so worried because I'm like, oh my gosh, I really, really like this girl. We've been literally talking for a month on the phone. I'm gonna blow it. Like I'm gonna mess this up. I'm gonna blow it some kind of way. And the first thing I said was, how am I supposed to be? And he was like, what are you talking about? And I was just like, should I be like gangster? Should I be like cool? Could I be? Don't laugh, Mom.
The fact that you pronounce your ER was like, should I be gangster? No, don't be gangster.
But hey, I'm a very good actor. It is what it is. So I'm like, he's all like, Ray, just be you. If she doesn't like you for you, then it doesn't matter. And I'm like, I can't stand you, but you're absolutely right. Okay, so.
And keeping in mind all of these blind dates that I said I walked away from.
But she didn't tell me about these blind dates at first.
I did not hesitate. It's like nothing to lose if it doesn't work. Keeping all of that in mind.
Right.
What happened,
Yes.
Ray?
So I was nervous because I didn't know what I was getting ready to meet. We've only talked on the phone. This was before pictures and text, all of that stuff. So I literally pulled my truck into the back of the parking lot, right? And now I'm just watching.
Looking
just
like a
watching the
stalker.
curve.
And the movie theater is full because it's a Friday night.
And
lot
I'm
of
just
cars
watching,
there.
and I'm like, okay. And then there are two females that are there, right? There's Shawn, and then there's this other thing. And I say thing because I don't know what I was watching. I was just like, oh my gosh. And I'm like,
That's going to be the one, ain't it?
that's going to be the one. That's my luck. That's going to be the one. And so I'm like, and they're just standing there. They're both just standing there waiting. And I'm like, okay. All right, I can do this, right? Because I showed up like 3 minutes late on purpose, right? Just to make sure what I was getting ready to see. So I was like, well, how am I going to figure this out? I know I'll call, right? If I call, the person who picks up the phone is the one.
Right.
If it's a scary one, I could just turn around and drive away.
Horrible, right?
I
Shallow
know,
Ray.
cold as ice.
Shallow Ray.
It gets worse.
No.
It gets worse.
So I pick up the phone and I call sure as shit, they both pick up the phone.
Oh,
and I'm
wow.
like,
Wow.
I'm screwed. I'm totally screwed. I'm like, I have no idea. And so now I done sunk so low into my truck that I'm just looking over the dashboard, right? Now I'm like total creeper. I am total creeper mode. I see all of this stuff. And then I'm like, all right, I can just figure this out. So I'm like, hey, how are you? And she's just like, I'm okay. She's all like, where are you? I'm like, I'm in the parking lot. And as soon as I said that, she was like,
She looked around.
hell. And she just looked around. She still had the phone in her hand, but she started walking.
No, he left the part out. So he
I
said,
missed something?
"Oh, yes, you
What I
did."
missed?
Uh-oh.
He says, "Well,
Oh, I know. What were you wearing?
Yeah, what are you wearing?" I'm like, "Bye."
Yeah.
I hung up on him,
forgot.
and I started walking to the car, and I'm like,
So then you just like, that's the one.
That's the one. So I'm like, damn it.
he sees me rampaging to my car. I'm like shaking my purse, like getting my keys. I'm like,
Yeah.
I can't believe
And
it
I'm
happened
like,
again.
wait.
He can't stop laughing though. He's trying so hard to stop.
I was like, oh my God, if I have to follow this girl, I'm going to follow this girl. Now I will be creeper mode.
Right.
You know, because as soon as I said, what are you wearing? And I see her walk away, and I looked over at the other girl, and she's putting her phone like away. And I'm like, that's definitely not the one. That's mine. I'm running. Like, you
Right,
know what I mean?
right.
And so yeah. So I apologize a lot. A lot.
Then we get into the movie theater. The whole night was crazy. So
It
we
was.
saw
Did you tell her why you were?
Yeah, not right then.
Okay.
No,
Right
no,
then,
because
So she just like, I'm on a date with
So-
Creeper Man.
So how did
Yeah.
how did he get you to?
he was laughing. When I saw him in the parking lot, and he was trying so hard to pull himself together. Like, well, I mean, maybe it's not so bad, and we are in a public place.
Yeah.
So, like, if it goes bad, I'm still amongst a whole bunch of people who could help me.
right.
Yeah.
So we saw a scary movie though, the Wayans version, and when we get into the movie theater, and y'all know me, so the movie's funny. Then it goes from funny to funnier, from funnier to funniest, and I'm like, tears are pouring out of my eyes, right? And this is after he pulled Stalker, but I can't pull it together. I'm laughing so bad.
Like she's
So it's
like hysterically
still-
laughing, like you know, like some weird Joker laugh, Harley Quinn.
So you looking at
and
him?
I'm like, wait a
Yeah.
minute, it's funny, but I don't know about all that kind of funny.
So now you scared.
So now I'm scared. I'm like, who am? She said she was sane. She said she was sane.
This is what I asked for.
So we get through the movie.
Yep.
Since both of us drove to the movie theater, we agreed to go get coffee, but we didn't want to take both cars and didn't want to leave a car at 67th and Thomas. My mom lived in the neighborhood, so we agreed Ray would drive to the
Deeper
coffee shop,
into the hood.
and I would leave my car at my mom's house. Keeping in mind, I had a bunch of bad blind dates. My sister, who at the time was a Phoenix police officer who patrolled the area my mom worked in, was at my mom's house for a break.
Yep.
I didn't realize this until I got to my mom's house to leave my car.
I think she knew.
Well, no, I did.
She called
But
her.
I called my mom, though, and told her I was going to leave my car there and then go to the coffee shop. But she told my sister, who waited, who had her partner there. So by the time we got there, they were waiting for Ray.
Yeah. So I remember.
I'm sorry if I missed it, but your Sean's sister is a police officer. Did we say that?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry, I missed that.
So she literally just kind of pulls into this, into the driveway, but she hasn't had a chance to tell me that her sister is a cop. And so the only thing I see is this lady standing outside, two cops on each side, a cop on each side of her. And, and the way Sean swung into the driveway, I'm thinking something's wrong. And so I'm like, oh man, I was all mad because I was like, our date's over. The first thing I thought of was our date's over.
Not if
something
somebody
happened.
could have been hurt.
But that's what I'm saying. I'm thinking like somebody's hurt.
Damn, my date
the
over.
date is over. Like, now we have to do this rebound weird thing. All this stuff is playing in my mind. And then she just gets out and la 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 la, and I'm like, oh my God, like, she's related to 5-0. Like, you know
She
what I mean?
know the fuzz.
And so now I'm like, oh no. I'm like, okay. I'm like, well, that's fine. This is fine, but I didn't know this. So I stop, pull over, and I get out.
And everybody was excited to meet him.
Yep.
They were. Yeah, so we get, they ran his plates and everything.
Oh, yeah.
They did
They
the
totally ran
whole,
plates.
they did
So
everything.
we
ran his place.
Yeah, so here's what I love to say. I love talking about this part. So I go over and I introduce myself to, Shawn's mom, and we talk and, for a second, and then I introduce myself to, to the sister, right? So she's all like, and I'm like, okay, all right, I'm okay with it. I'm all right. And then I'm like, hello to the partner, and Terrell, like sometimes when you shake a dude's hand, like it's there's a lot that happens, right? If it's just a regular handshake, okay. If it's kind of limp, it's like, ooh, that's weird. And then if it's extra strong, it's like
I'm trying to intimidate you.
I'm trying to intimidate you.
Yeah.
So I'm like, don't try to do that. Like, you know what I mean? I'm like, I'm too big for that. Let's not try to do that. And so he tries to shake, but you can see his arm. You can see the veins and everything in his arm. And I'm like,
what is wrong with you?
What is wrong with you? Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, why are we doing this?
Right.
And then so we laugh, we talk for a couple seconds, and then, we get in the truck and we're driving away. And so as we're driving away, I said, you do know that your sister's running my plates. And she was just like, no, she's not. Why would she ever do that? And I'm like, why wouldn't she? You know what I mean? Like, let's just be honest. Like, if my sister drove away with somebody and I had the ability to do all my checking with a couple strokes of some keys, I'd do it in a heartbeat.
Uncle Tommy did it?
Yep.
You can expect it. I mean, I might even tell you.
Yeah.
All right. And when y'all leave, I'm gonna run your license plates. I got your license number.
Yeah.
So I'm
I probably would have did it while you was there.
because I'm gonna probably
So
mention
for
it.
speeding tickets, huh? Slow
I'm gonna
down
mention
tonight.
it just to see what your demeanor is when I mention that I'm gonna, do your background check and check all that stuff. Oh, side note, I don't know who and why men think that you can intimidate other men with handshakes.
I don't know.
I don't know if I've ever like had a handshake was like, oh.
Yeah, but if you get one of them little limp handshakes, it does make me be like, ugh.
Yeah.
Like, what's with the little weakness,
So here's what I'm going to say to that, right? Sir, you have daughters. Mm-hmm. At some point, somebody's going to come up in here.
Poor guy.
I'm just telling you.
I won't use
I
won't use a handshake to intimidate him. I'm just saying.
But you may not, right? You may not plan to do it, but I don't know what Corona's going to do to the world by the time we get older. So I'm just saying. But I did it with my daughters. Yeah, absolutely. When she came, when that dude came in high, you know what I mean? I'm like, no. And I did get a limp handshake, and I was like, you're gonna have to toughen that up. That was like probably one of the first phrases I said to him. You're gonna have to toughen that up.
Terrell, did you get the weak handshake when you and Ray met?
Ray? No, Ray had a firm handshake. I wouldn't say your handshake had intimidation in it though. I wouldn't say that.
That's because Ray does the smile and I'm sizing you up. Like I'm real nice to you, but in my eyes, I'm killing you. I'm killing you. I did have a question for you guys.
It happens.
So going back a little bit to the first date, the first encounter, what was your first thought when you saw him, and what was your first thought when you realized who she was? Were you happy? Were you sad? Were you just like, okay, I can work with this? Like, what was your first thought when you saw?
I thought he was really handsome. I really did. And when I saw him laughing, I loved it even more. Yeah, because I was like, okay, he has a sense of humor, even though he scared me at first. But the first phone call was what did it. His first phone call, he's telling me his Navy stories. And one of the funniest things he told me was that he didn't have any facial hair going into the Navy. But the Navy, and I laughed myself to death. He said, the Navy issues you everything standard, whether you need it or not. You get it, you use it. So they issued him a straight razor. And his exact words were, they gave me this razor. I didn't know how to use it. I went in there and I cut my face all to hell. Yeah, and it was just so funny picturing this coming like from an 18-year-old's point of view. It was so funny.
I was 17.
Yeah,
I was 17. I had 2 pieces of hair on my chin.
Yeah, it's like they could have gave me tweezers.
I could have wiped hard and the hair would have came on.
But yeah, I just listening to the him on the phone. I loved his sense of humor. So yeah.
And same question for you.
So don't laugh, but I was absolutely in love. I think it just it really just pushed out like because we did have great conversations on the phone. I was super excited about meeting, and I was just like, okay, like this is the last little bit of the puzzle piece, you know. And so it was perfection. And like she, you know, like who was it that said it at our wedding? It was like the female Ray.
Kevin, I think. No, it was Ben.
It was Ben.
It was Ben.
And so, so one of the biggest things was like, you know, we meshed so well, and I was just like, this is absolutely perfect. And
Gotcha.
the one I've been searching for.
Even though I had preteens at the time we met, she was 11 when we met.
She's 10.
And that was when one of our first conversations was that I have a child.
Yep.
She is top priority. If you can, you know, accept that, she's part of the deal. And
Yep.
if not, it's fine. But it is what it is. She is my child. She's not going anywhere.
That was actually going to be my question. I was going to ask how that made you feel. Did it change anything?
Nope. I
How old was Yana at the time?
she was 10.
10.
She was 10. And so I think
Yana's deal breaker with you was funny.
yeah. Oh god, yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh, that was
She loved Ray, but she wanted very much not to like him.
She
And
did.
She tried everything she could not to like him, and it just failed repeatedly.
I was
because
going to
she
ask that
had so
too.
much
I was going to
fun.
ask that too. How was the first time you met her?
so
First meet Yana.
well, I used my bargaining chip. So
Was that the? No, you met her.
I played
before
that
though.
one. no, I think that was the first time. I think, right? I think with the
I can't remember. No, because that was when you brought Q. That was what
Yeah.
did it.
yeah,
I
but
can't
thought
remember
met her.
exactly when the first time was Ray met Yana, and she stood. You know, she was.
She was a little standoffish. Well, she was a lot standoffish actually. She was just kind of sizing me up like, "Who are you? Who, you know, whatever."
She saw it as someone's taking my mom away. That's
Right.
all she saw.
Right.
But he shows up one night on Halloween. We're getting ready to go trick or treating
Yeah.
with her dog, with his dog, who was
Yeah.
just a little bit about the same size as Puddles.
Yeah.
And all Yana saw was Q.
was
She
dog.
didn't see Ray.
Yeah.
She didn't see. She literally was like, "Oh, you have a dog," and
Yep,
walked
and that
away.
was it.
That was good.
That
She
was it,
like,
and
"Ray,
I
you're
was just like,
good."
"Well, there it is. There it is." So yeah, I it's lovely because with my relationship with Ayana, and you know, and even her father, I'm like, the way I've always felt is that I'm here. You know what I mean? I'm not going anywhere. I treat Ayana like she's mine. You know what I mean? I always have. We laugh, we discipline, weird eye looks, yes, all of that. She gets all of those. But I will never stand in between her and her father, ever.
Right.
You know, and that's just...
But we have a good, all of us have a really good, we're a
Blended
good blended
relationship.
family. We're an awesome blended family. Yeah, the beginning was miserable.
I was going to ask, like, was there ever a moment where you guys didn't get along?
Oh,
No,
yes.
yeah.
Yeah, it was
yeah.
miserable.
Yeah.
But looking back, I think
How do
everybody's
you think I keep
older and
thinking
more
of a
mature.
Lenny Kravitz story?
Well, I was going to ask, so what was the first encounter with her dad? How was that?
It was
God,
it
that's
was
a good question.
ridiculous. It was okay, I'm not a guy and I don't understand, guy brain. But my thought is that in guy world, I'm free to go and move on and live a life and live happily ever after. But if you have had a relationship with this person in guy brain, my guess is you're supposed to sit on the shelf in case my new life don't work. You're
I can
still
always
sitting-
call you.
Right, that's what I'm thinking. But because I moved on, he went into this crazy world of nonsense. So what he started doing was he started harassing us. And it was literally 3 weekends in a row. I don't drink. So Yana spends the day with her dad and his family. And me and Ray go to Park and Swap. We're out having fun and everything. And on the way home to pick up Yana, we stop and we get 7-Up. We get to her meeting point, and her aunt sees us in the car drinking the 7-Up. which turns into the story from her dad. We're drunk driving with Mickey's. Like, considering Shawn doesn't drink, everybody knows I don't drink. So
and Mickey's for real.
Mickey's.
Yeah.
So the next weekend, Lenny Kravitz had a new
Yes.
CD come out, right? And her dad also noticed at the time Ray had a bunch of body piercings. His tongue, his ears,
wow, really?
everything was pierced. We
Yeah.
had piercings. I had 8 holes in navel. We were pierced up.
wow.
And so her dad turned that into, we basically worship Lenny Kravitz while we body pierce each other.
Yes.
Nuts, right?
What in the
And then,
hell?
then the third weekend
Yeah.
was when I lost it because we were at the house and where I was living at the time had a security gate. You would have to knock, but we were listening to music. We couldn't hear them knocking on the door. Yana was coming home. So he turns that into, we must be in the house naked, running around, listening to Lenny Kravitz, drunk, body
Yeah.
piercing each other. Like
So he just took everything and put it together at that one night.
Yeah, it did. It just kind of kept going.
When we turned the story around, I'm like, what drugs are you on? Like, I think you need help. I think
need help.
charter. Like, I
Yeah,
think you need
charter.
to call
He
somebody.
just made him an unfit parent
What
Sunday.
in the hell?
Yeah.
And then it took Yana. Yana was the peacemaker
Yeah, she
because the
was.
following weekend, we were dropping her off at her grandfather's church, and that was our meeting place. So her dad, Yana pulled her dad aside and said, Ray is a really good guy. You need to calm down. And so when he comes over, he tries to give Ray that crazy,
the
crippling
crazy,
handshake.
yep.
Ray gave it right back. And so I think it ended up being
It
kind
was
of
a kind of little bit of a weird tug of war. And then the only thing I kept thinking was, Ray, you're on church ground.
Right.
Ray, you're on church ground. Don't fight this man on church ground. Because you could tell, I could tell this man wanted to fight me. And I'm just like, I'm not the one.
Right.
I'm not the one.
Don't want to buy tickets to this.
But you know, I don't know who's gonna win, but you gonna get you a fight. That's what you're gonna get right here on church ground.
Well,
You know,
it started irritating me because I'm like, again, in guy world, I don't understand. This man is intimidating my potential happiness, and you have a fiance, and you guys are living your life. I'm trying to live mine. Why are you trying to ruin my life? Why won't you leave me alone?
Right.
So at some point, I think Yana helped
yeah, she
calm him down.
Did you ever think that he would run Ray away?
I started thinking at one point, I don't know what's making Ray stay, because I would even question if this was me, because it got ridiculous. We remember the Thanksgiving? We were told to pull our car over so we could duke it out in the street.
Yeah.
It was like, it literally got crazy. And I started thinking, if this was me,
Remember
would
the
I
places we
tolerate
went
this?
Her stomach hurt. We went to like 5 houses for Thanksgiving that year.
But then again, it kind of was like even though he had to deal with baby daddy, you also had to deal with Ray's friends.
So,
So it's like
Oh
Yeah.
God, yeah.
Ray's friends were basically his Phoenician blood, because his actual blood was back home in Virginia. So they held it down
Including you.
for y'all. Yeah. So Ray's friends in the beginning,
don't
one
have
by
time for
one,
that.
about 9 of his friends told me what for. And I better not hurt Ray, or they would make sure they hurt me, or go get people to
Before we
hurt me.
continue, how long were you guys dating before you started to get the hate calls?
Hate call.
From
Like just the friends, How long were you guys dating before they were like, if you do anything?
with Ray's friends, it was immediate. It was immediate. The day I met these people, the very day, hi, this is Shawn, my girlfriend, and Shawn.
No,
this
how
is-
long were you guys dating?
Oh.
It
Not
wasn't not even 2 months. It
no.
was,
Oh,
it was
okay.
still within the month of when we physically met face to face.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was
Okay.
brand spanking
Yeah.
new. So it's like, I don't think grown men should be threatening women like this. Like, this is not funny.
I had to pull them aside and be like, dude, please.
Would they do
like-
that in your face, or would they just be like, "Oh, hey"?
It was
It was directed to me.
Oh, when
Yeah.
they got
And
you by
one of
herself.
my
Yeah.
friends even gave me that handshake. Like, look, I've known Ray for a long time, and if you hurt my friend, it's like, I'm gonna go. He told me he was gonna go hire somebody to hurt me.
That's
A white
not what he
bitch?
said. You can totally say what he said. I'll say what he said. He said, I will go and find a white bitch to go and beat you up.
Who said
That's
this?
what he
This was
Who
one
said
of
this?
Ray's
This
friends.
was one of my friends.
Nobody that I've met.
No, you haven't met this guy. Yeah.
Because
Yeah,
it's
we're
like,
not friends
and
anymore.
then I just kind of laughed because I knew he was intoxicated. I'm like, oh,
Yeah, he was really
you gonna make sure
hot.
she's
He's
white?
sure.
I see.
Yeah,
Okay,
Can't be a black one.
okay.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
So the threatening. But what was funny, after all of these friends,
Oh Lord.
then I get this phone call. Well, no, I'll put it back. Me and Ray were driving. We were driving one day, and I don't know what transpired between Ray and his sister. But I think what happened, I think she was telling you that she met somebody. And then Ray got all crazy face. Yeah. And then she said, well, I haven't even met Shawn and blah, blah, blah. And so then I get on the phone. And then the first line was, I just want to know, what are your intentions?
Okay, pause.
Brother.
I was about to say
What
pause.
are your intentions
When was this?
with my brother?
Yeah. Okay, if I met you, it had to have been,
we
what,
had met?
2000?
We had met? So you guys must have been together for years before you first talked to Simone then.
Maybe
'Cause if you guys-
were about somebody else.
We might have been talking about something.
I
It could have been,
remember.
I don't know.
So
Yeah.
But-
Because we
You
met in 2006.
Okay, so it was something else you guys were,
Yeah.
because this was still, we weren't even living together.
Maybe I was talking about one of her
You
other
were
men.
upset because we were moving together.
Yes.
That's what it was when we were
were
moving
you?
Park Shadows, and she was upset because he was moving with somebody she hadn't met.
I know what you was.
Yeah, I remember
pause.
that.
Oh, because
Yeah.
Ray, okay. I have a brother and a sister, but me and Ray's relationship is way different. We're close. It's like we understand each other. We cannot talk, or it could be like, okay, someone will say something and I'll just look at Ray and he'll look at me and we'll be like, yeah, like we instantly know. We know what's going on without having to talk about it. And it's always been that way. We've kind of always understood each other, whether we talked or not. So we just had that kind of relationship. And it was really tough when he left to come to Arizona, because Virginia just didn't fit with him. But he wasn't, even though he was from there, it didn't fit. That wasn't his home. Right. So even before he left, it was like really touching, and it was just like, I don't want you to leave, but I know that you have to leave, kind of thing. So, like that bond, I felt as though it was going to be broken because he's going to be 3,000 miles away. Right. But I mean, of course we talked and, whatever. But even when he was at home, he used to have these little crazy girls that I didn't particularly care for. Like the neighbor that used to stalk him.
Oh, the neighbor.
That used to stalk him with her ugly accent. Like, I couldn't stand her. I could not stand her. And I don't even know why she was always nice to me. But she was nice to me because she wanted... Hey.
Hello, Ray Shawn.
Good thing
right when he was just about to talk about Arby's.
Yeah.
But she wanted him because... Exactly, because she was Arby's. She wanted the meats, like, for real. So I could not stand her, and I knew it. And I was just like, "You're only over here because we're my brothers." Like, I used to hate her. I couldn't stand her. It was her, and the one from the Navy couldn't stand her either. The tall one, it was a whole lot of them. I was just like, no. So then when he was like, okay, he told me beforehand that he had met somebody, and I was like, oh, for real? Not impressed. So I was not impressed at all. He was like, yeah, I met somebody, blah, blah, blah. And so, of course, I listened. I was like, oh, okay. She not crazy, is she? I was like, my first question, she not crazy, is she? Yeah. And he was like, no, she's not crazy. I was like, I don't know. I'm going to have to see, because sometimes your judgment can be cloudy. So I was like, oh, no. So he was like, well, you need to be nice. I was like, okay, whatever. So then I talked to him again, and he was like, yeah, we're going to move in with each other. I was like, I don't know if you should do that, because I don't know. She could be crazy. She could have mental illness in her family. Like, did you ask these questions? He was just like, of course I didn't ask those questions. I'm like, no, you didn't ask. So I'm like, well, before you move in, I need to talk to her. And he was like, Simone, you better be nice.
Yeah.
We will see. When she get on the phone. Because it was all, I'm telling you, it was always, he would be infatuated with a person, but it would be, okay, something about them is not right. He like, you just don't like nobody. That's not the case. But then when they do something crazy, I just be like, I told you something about them won't right. Yep. So I was like, I don't know. We just have to see. So when I did get a chance to talk, you were in, it made it kind of hard because you were so nice. Until I started asking questions, you was just like, here's your brother. Like, it was cool. And then it was like, hello, how are you? Blah, blah, blah. Yeah. Let's get to it. What are your intentions for my brother? Like, you trying to hurt him? And then it was just like, And then it went from happy to no to okay. And then like the enthusiasm went down. And then at the end, you was just like, here's your sister. Like, take this phone away.
Because I
It
think
had
that
happened so many
it
times. I
did.
was so
Yeah, I was about to say, by this time you
frustrated.
was done with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
I think it was after that. I remember it's just like, is there anything you want to tell me about your sister? You know what I mean? And I'm just like, she's protective. I'm protective, she's protective, and that's what that is. And I'm like, I've been through a lot. I've been through a lot of mess, and I'm just like, and she's protective of that, and I get it. So, yep.
If I'm standing in Sean's shoes, though, I can understand the protective sister, but the friends, y'all a little too overboard. I mean, I don't know if I'm that way with my friends. Like, especially men, I just feel like we just let each other.
Well, I think it was because I'm here. I was here
And you were
by
alone.
myself.
Yeah.
Like I didn't have any family here, and
Well, like when I met Mike. Mike
Yeah.
had a wife at the time who was best friends with Ray. They were very, very, very. They would play like brother and sister, throw
Yeah.
each other around, throw stuff at each other. We go over Mike and Jenny's house one night. Ray introduces me to them, and Ray and Jenny immediately take off. They're throwing each other around, whatever. I get up and go try to walk out with Mike and with Ray and Jenny because I'm not in the mood. And then Mike's like, Shawn, no, wait, come here so I can talk to you. I'm like,
Here
here
we
we
go.
go again. So he's giving me this whole lecture. I'm like, Mike, I've been through this now 20 times. This is old. I'm tired.
Right.
Yeah.
But it was a lot. I mean, at that point in time, our grandmother had passed away. You were out here alone, like completely alone. Then we didn't know exactly who you were living with, little cat lady and stuff like that. So we didn't know a lot of stuff that was going on. So I was just like, okay, like who
true,
is
though.
this person that has come and what exactly does she want? Like after so many bad eggs, it's like, okay, what is it? What is going on here?
So what's ironic about our relationship, and we talked about this, and it's almost mind-bothering. So you guys' grandmother, Ray's mom,
Yeah.
was lieutenant, and her uniforms were done or altered by my mom at the alterations shop. Ray would go into the alterations shop with your grandmother forever and a day, going way back, itty bitty kids. I was always at the alterations shop with my mom forever and a day. We probably played with each other, who knows, because the kids always played with each other. But then moving forward, we get to high school. We know everybody in the circle except each other. And
Because
again,
we
we're
went to
like,
the same high school and
same
didn't
high
know
school, never bumped into each other. We don't understand why. We lived in the same neighborhood for years.
Yeah.
We knew the same people. The
Went
lady,
to the same laundromat.
the lady that introduced us has been around forever, and
Yeah.
for whatever
We
reason,
watched her kids.
yeah, we
Both of us.
watched our kids
Yep.
forever. So it's just weird. Like if we've known each other, or if we've been in the proximity of each other forever, why did it take us so long to finally meet
Yeah.
each other? So I think
Right.
it was just, I know it was a timing thing, but I don't know why it took so long.
Right.
I always say it is just that timing. Something about it, we weren't ready. Whether I needed to mature or you needed to go through something or whatever that says we weren't ready at that time. I truly feel like that's what it was. So.
Okay, so
Oh.
I'm gonna do a little bit of fast tracking.
Oh, I have one question before you fast track. Okay, so you guys have met everybody and you guys are together now. Who was the first one to say I love you and what were you doing?
It was Ray. I think we were making plans for the weekend, and I was completely scared to death to reply because I was so fearful of being hurt, led on, manipulated. All of these thoughts are running through my mind.
About the weekend?
About
In general,
just in general. We have this guy who says, I love you. I think we can spend our life together. And I'm guarded by this time, just like, are you telling me the truth?
Sean had walls.
So you guys were face to face when he said it.
Yeah, we
Okay.
were face to face. Yeah, and I was really, really scared that if I give in, then I'm probably gonna end up walking off a cliff or having the rug yanked from me again. And it was okay. It actually, I worked through it, and we're still good. So,
what made you? Was it something you were just like, okay, I think I'm going to tell her? Or was it like spur of the moment? Like, oh my gosh, like she did something and I just love you. Or what made you just say, you know what? I need to tell her that I love her.
Well, okay. So it was, like I said, when I first met her, like even past the phone, that's just weird. All that stuff like that. But I knew it then. I knew it right then. And so it's literally like, it's almost like holding it back. It's like this. So for weeks and months, I just held back telling her that because I didn't want to seem like I was the weird one on date 2 telling you, girl, I love you.
And she gonna be like,
you know what I mean? Like once again, So, it was literally bursting out of me. Like if I don't say it, and I say, you know what? I had already, because Simone, I go through things in my brain, and I'll go through the scenario of what if she doesn't say it back,
right?
Or what if she doesn't feel that same way, or something like that. And so that's why I was just like, you know what? I'm just gonna say it, and if she tells me back, then yay. If she doesn't, then I can live with that, and until she's ready, because...
Do you remember what you were doing? What you guys were doing?
They said they were making plans for the weekend.
Remember we were on 16th Street?
We were on 16th Street.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because I remember exactly where we were. I think we were literally making plans for the weekend.
Yeah.
And then you just turned to her and just said...
Yep.
And did you say it back? So did you say it back?
It took me a minute.
Yeah, it did.
So was it the same day?
What's a minute?
I think it was like the morning, huh?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
So he told y'all this, and you was just like, give him the look.
I explained to him too.
And I understood.
And I told him, I said, I just can't go, only because I think I love wholeheartedly, and it's such like a traumatic experience, and I just literally did not want to go through it again.
Right.
I'm thinking, if I'm no good for myself, I'm no good for anybody else, and I just don't want to go through the roller coaster again. But yeah, it's like, get a piece and get all of it.
So the next morning, how did you say it back? Were you just like, I love you too? Or,
No, I started in conversation. Yeah, I started in conversation, and in the middle of the conversation, I told him, I love you too, but I just want you to understand that I can't go through this again. And I'm very, very guarded right now.
Yeah. In the beginning, it kind of was with the both of us, was a lot of explanation, and that was really awesome about us, is because when we first, from day one, we put everything out there. We literally put everything out there, from, hey, I have a daughter, right? To, hey, I was military and I have a past. You know what I mean?
And that I have a daughter, but her dad, not whatsoever, is going to be a problem. Like, it's not a rebound thing. Not whatsoever. Not in a million years.
So because we put so much out there, it was like, it's literally, so almost like you don't have any skeletons. You just don't. Like, you just put it all out there because, and I feel like, because we were in our 20s, so, I know, right? So I think I was just done with the extra. I didn't want, like if this is the one, which I know it is, I'm gonna put it all out there, right? So that way there's no surprises. There's no, like, Ray, you didn't tell me about this. Like, you know what I mean? Nope, I'm putting it all there. All of it.
Okay, so we're going to fast forward a little bit.
Let's fast track. So
And
I want to say, so you guys moved in together. How long were you guys together before you moved in together?
Not long. I think we were together 6 months. Yeah,
It just happened.
Yeah, we met, and it was the living situations where we were prior to us moving. They were both kind of ridiculous. I think yours was probably more ridiculous than mine. So when we started realizing that we would be better under one roof and we could save money if we moved together, I think we were both concerned that we didn't want to mess anything up living together so suddenly. And I think everyone around us thought the same thing. We were maybe moving too fast. But
it could have even been faster than that, because in the situation where I was in, it was I needed to move right then and there, and so then it was either, and even Shawn was just like, you can actually move in with me.
Because he was moving he was moving with the cat lady.
The cat lady.
Yeah.
And so because I was moving in with
space.
this cat lady, Shawn was just like, that's not where, and it was awesome because she was just, that's not where I want you to be. I want you to be safe, and I want you to feel okay, and you know, and things like that. And I'm like, yes, I would love this. Don't get it twisted, but we are new.
Right.
You don't know. I know you. You don't know me. I don't know you. Like, you know what I mean? I do this, you do that. I mean, we have to get to know each other.
I was worried. I was really worried.
Okay, so I think I asked you, when did you know that you wanted to move in with each other?
Yeah, we grew. We've been dating for 6 months, 5-6 months, and my lease was coming to an end, and we started talking about my lease being at the end, and you being unhappy where you're at, and I think we just talked and decided we would try it and see how it goes.
Yeah.
I wanted, if we were gonna make this work, I would rather us live together first before getting married. It's less hassle if it doesn't work for us to go our separate ways.
Yep.
Before you guys had that conversation, did you guys talk to Yana first, or did you guys was like, oh, well, maybe we should do it, let's talk to her
We
then?
talked to each other first and then talked to Yana to see how she felt about it.
Okay.
And she was nervous at the
Yeah.
same time, just like we were, but being that all of us were in agreement that it was a change for all of us at the same time, yeah, we were just like one big adventure and everybody just sees what happens.
Yep.
Right.
It was, you know, I think that we always have said that. Like, you know, hey, it's an adventure. Let's go on an adventure.
See what happens.
Yep, and just see what happens.
Yeah.
Okay. So now you guys are living with each other. When did you know you wanted to get married?
I was in the dark. I was completely in the dark until
You know,
he
I think I
proposed.
remember this phone call
You
too.
probably do. So, you know, I think, you know, I told you, I fell head over heels from beginning. So I did think I was worried that I was moving too fast. I did. I was like, oh my gosh, you know, we went from, you know, just meeting to, you know, hey, we're boyfriend, girlfriend, to, hey, we're now living with each other, and now what's next, you know? And so the job I had was just crappy, let's just be honest, right? And so I couldn't afford but so much, you know what I mean? But, you know, even us and we, you know, we talked and everything like that, and one of the things we always said was, it's not about the money. It's not about the ring. It's not about that. It's about us. And so I'm like, okay, so I'm so glad you said that. And so so I pulled what money I had together and I bought this ring. And so I probably paced with this ring for a good month. You know, and I asked people, you know, hey, oh my God, am I moving too fast? They're like, no, we love her. We love you guys. You guys are awesome. And I'm just like, okay, all right, I'm going to do this.
Well, I remember there were numerous conversations,
There was.
because the first conversation we had was when you actually told me that you were thinking about asking. And I was like, oh my gosh, like for real? Like, it was always, are you sure you want to do this? Because marriage is forever. And we
Yep.
don't want to have the same. I think that's always been my fear. So I always ask, we don't want to have the same marriage that we've seen. We've seen a good marriage, but then we also seen a really bad marriage. So I'm like, we don't want B. We always want A. So I'm like, are you sure this is what you want to do? And you know, you guys moved in kind of fast. Are you sure this is what you want? And so that was the first conversation. And then he was like, yeah, I just know. So then after that, it was, okay, I bought the ring. Cool. Okay, so what you gonna do? When are you gonna do it? What are you waiting for? You gonna do it now? He was like, hey, just do it now. And remember, you were like, I'm thinking, Christmas. And I was like, that's so cliche. Like, you sure you wanted? He was like, yeah, I got this whole thing
had it
mapped
all
out.
mapped
He
out.
was like, she can open her gift, and then, or should I be bam on my knee, or should I just be like, okay, before you open your gift, bam, here's the ring, or should I do it? It was this whole scenario that was played out.
It's like before the presents, after the present, before this, after that. Like, oh my God, and
I think the day he asked was probably one of the most. I don't even have a word that fits poor Shawn, what I was feeling. So we're getting ready to open gifts, and it's just me, Ray, and Yana. And Ray comes out of the bedroom, and he looks like he's like sweating like crazy, and he has on this bathrobe.
Little bathrobe.
And I'm like, if you're that hot, why do you have the robe on? And you can see he almost
You
looks
needed
like
something
he has
with
the
a pocket?
flu.
I needed something with the pocket.
I knew it.
Well, and Yana's looking the same thing. She's like, "What's wrong with you? You never wear a robe.
Yeah.
What's with the
It was a
robe?"
big robe.
the
too.
robe?
Like, yeah.
So then he's like getting ready to faint. He's like, in such distress. So
She just kept saying, "What's wrong with you? What's wrong with you?" And I'm like, "I'm good. I'm good. I'm good."
Yana figured
Just
out.
sitting here with a robe.
Sweating.
Yana figured out he was up to something, so she wasn't paying any attention to anything
She
else
literally
but
was
Ray.
stopped and staring at me, which didn't help.
Right.
He asked me, and then I think he was still holding the ring out, and she takes off running down the hall crying. She's
Yeah.
hysterical.
Yeah.
Why
I'm
she
like,
crying?
because she didn't know he was going to ask, and he's taking my mom away from me,
Oh,
and all of these
no.
emotions. He's in the other room distraught. I'm like, I
She's
can't
the
even
only
be
one.
happy.
And so
Did you get to say anything first?
She did. She
they both took
No,
off.
wait a minute. You did answer.
I did.
You did
I
answer.
did.
Okay, I was like, oh
Thank
no.
God, right?
Yeah,
So she did answer, but once she answered and Yana had left, then I was like, I screwed up. Like, I think I was like, the first time I said I screwed up because I can't replace her daughter, and if her daughter is like hurt or upset or whatever, I've screwed this up. Like, you know what I mean? And the first thing I said was, probably should have asked her first. I probably should have talked to her first. Now, I talked
be
to
on it.
everybody, including Shawn's mom and dad. You know what I mean? I talked to everybody first, but she's the one person I did not. And I don't know if it was because
I think you said
It was her-
going to say something.
I
Yeah.
was afraid that she was
Yeah,
going
I
to say
would've- I
something,
would've
and it was her
assumed that too.
age, because she was 11. She was 11
Yeah.
at that time.
Yeah.
Almost 12. Yeah, almost 12. And so I was like, man.
So you guys have been dating like a year and a half? Would you say?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because we were Park Shadows.
Oh, yeah. We
year.
were there a year. But we also got married there because we came back there after the honeymoon. That's a whole nother story.
We're gonna get there.
Yeah, but we
Yeah.
when Ray went and lost his sanity, and I went to go talk to Yana for a while, and I asked her what she was feeling, and I'm like, I'm not going anywhere. We're still one unit. We're
Yeah.
gonna get through this together. It's still gonna be us. Nothing's gonna change. What's funny is that she's older now, and she replays all of these stories back, and she realizes how much time she really wasn't home. She spent a lot of time with her cousins.
Yeah.
So I'm like, you keep saying he's taking mom away, like you left mom alone a lot. So, but yeah, after everybody and all the emotions calmed down,
Yeah.
then everybody
fine.
was able to pull right back, and
Yep.
we got on to opening gifts, and she was fine. Yeah.
So when you came, where did you go? You just kind of went to collect yourself, and then you
I went to
just,
the bathroom and collected myself in the
Okay.
mirror. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like, and I felt bad, and I think it's just the me and me. So it's like, I should be super overjoyed right now, and I'm sitting here distraught because I've got to help everybody else pull themselves together. So,
Yeah. Embarrassing, but yes.
We both know it wasn't. I felt so bad. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, it's like it's okay. I'll worry about me later. I got to get y'all good.
as soon as he called, I was like, what you saying? That was the first thing. Okay, great. Okay, so now you guys are engaged. So, how was the wedding? Not in a whole. So you asked her, you guys picked a date. So how was planning the wedding, and how did the wedding turn out? Was it picture perfect?
It was we love our Phoenix family because we're coming up on our anniversary, our 15th anniversary,
Woo woo.
July 3rd.
Yes.
And we all know how hot it is in
July.
Phoenix in July outside. And again, we love you, family. We got married outside in July 3rd.
What was
In a
y'all
rose garden.
thinking?
So we got a very good rate on the
really
venue.
good rate.
And we booked it in December, so we weren't thinking that far ahead that it's going to be 120.
Baking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you guys get lucky? What was the temperature like?
It was
It was
hot.
blazing.
Yeah,
it was.
I
know it was over. I know it was over 110.
The funny thing, when you look back at our tape, we had everything melted. Everything that was wax or
Yep. So Unity candles
yeah, the
melted.
Unity candles melted. The
flowers on the arches.
they all melted. Anything that was hot glued together, the decorations, it melted.
Yeah.
Everything fell apart. It was just too hot. And then when we were looking at the videos, you could see, including Miss Mona, everybody left us lip communication messages where they were going off on us for having them stand outside.
Yep, in the video, and we see it every year. We watch our wedding video every year.
Aww.
And it's funny because we always see something new.
Every
We
year.
Yeah, that's
always
dope.
see something new.
That's dope.
Yeah.
And it's funny, it's awesome, it's sometimes sad.
Yeah.
You know, because there are people that are in the video
Yeah.
that are no longer here. And then there's also people that were together in the video that are no longer together.
Yeah.
And so it's interesting every year we watch it. And then
And kids, all of the kids that
kids
are in the
they're
video,
all
they're all
adults.
adults now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think Ian probably breaks my heart when I
Yeah.
see him. Ian is 2 years old in our video. He's a college freshman.
yeah.
Oh my gosh.
You know?
So what would you say was the best part of the wedding other than the I do's?
When we did the garter dance, I think everybody,
Yeah.
because Ray put on a show all by himself before he even got to the garter part,
Yep.
and you could hear all of the wolf howls in the back. Like,
So please give us because I wasn't there for the wedding. So give us a little story, paint us a picture of what happened.
So you start with your song. We had
We had D'Angelo.
How does it feel?
Yeah.
I can already imagine.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
And I don't know. I love that song. That song was awesome. You know what I mean? I was just like, yeah, this is what I want to do. And then, I had this whole plan once again. I have this whole plan in my head of what I'm planning to do. And it worked out or whatever. But I just literally we just pulled the garter off.
And what was funny?
Oh, yeah, okay.
The wedding dress, usually has lots of layers. There's
Yes.
the what is it, like the hoop skirt and the garter and the corset and all of that stuff. Because it was so hot, everything went. Everything. And all I literally had on was the dress.
Yep.
It was too hot for anything.
There's no getting around anything.
So-
It was just yeah.
So, but yeah, this music started. He pulls the garter off, and it's like hanging from his mouth forever.
Yep.
And then the guys were just running. Like Ray, quit throwing it over there. We're over here. So Ray turns to the left, and then the guys are literally
Ran
just
the other
running.
end. You know what I mean? I was just like, wow, okay.
Who had the craziest guest? Which side had the craziest guest?
Oh, you.
We had some characters.
Yes.
So we had one of our best men.
Yeah.
He was on a roll. So he meant well, but all of his meaningful gestures went bad. And I think the worst, he sprayed the minister with, he tapped
beer.
the keg before the wedding started, and it absolutely sprayed the minister in the process.
Yep. We had,
So the minister was smelling like beer before
Yes.
the wedding, okay?
Yep. We had
A relative who lifted every ounce of liquor that was not nailed to the floor
Yep.
before we got to the toasting
Yeah.
part.
Oh, wow.
So
What
we
y'all
had,
toast with?
We had literally we
One
spread
of
it.
the Selena
Yeah.
saw him stealing it, and she grabbed some of the bottles and brought them back in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we had bought so much of it. For enough for the wedding guests and everything like that,
Yeah.
but he decided he wanted to take it, and
That's
so we had
crazy.
enough just for like for everybody to have like a half glass.
Wow, that's
and
crazy.
for us to have a half glass.
And even our toast, it was rough.
Oh,
Our
God.
glasses
Oh, my gosh.
were metal.
Yeah.
Ours were metal.
Yeah.
And when we drank the champagne, you could taste the
You could
metal.
taste the metal.
It tastes like it was.
We never,
Yeah.
So you
awful.
guys knew while the wedding was going on, the reception. You guys knew that already that he had taken.
No.
Oh,
That
no.
was
At that time, it was right before we were getting ready to do the toast and stuff like that. When
And
we had
had
found out
cases of it.
Yeah.
He literally took.
Have y'all even seen him since the wedding?
He's incarcerated for alcoholism.
Yeah.
What do you know?
Well, that
Ironic.
makes a lot of sense. Okay, well,
Yeah. Yeah.
That's sad. That's sad when I'm sorry, short note. That's just sad when you can do that to somebody's day. You know, wedding day is supposed to be special
all
for
of
somebody.
it, yeah.
And you guys had an open bar, like you guys were offering free drinks.
So because it was just us funding it, we cut corners everywhere. So we didn't have really a full bar. We just had the beer keg and the champagne, and then there was like soda and water. So, but because he had the problem, he took what he could find. So, in the kitchen area where the food and everything was up, it was pretty much open because there was no wait staff. So
Right.
he just helped himself. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Trash.
wow.
But there was something else that happened. Best part. This is the absolute best part. So, our minister, my aunt, had another wedding or something to do later on in the day. So we needed to start the wedding exactly on time at 4:30.
Oh.
And so we rehearsed. We practiced with the best men and the bridesmaids. We practiced with everybody. So the day of at 4:30. I'm in the parlor waiting for the ceremony to start. The ceremony started and no one told me.
Yeah.
No one told me. Ray, the guys, the girls, the parents,
Everybody went down the aisle.
Everybody went down the aisle and no one told the bride.
And so
that
you
the
were
wedding
like-
started.
So I'm sitting at the altar.
Did you think she
right?
left you?
I thought she left me. I'm not even gonna lie, because I just sat there and I'm like, what's happening? Is this happening?
Oh no!
Oh my God, this is happening. And I'm just like, okay. And you can see the sweat just starting to pour off my face. And then like the music has stopped. It is quiet. And I'm like,
Everybody's looking at you.
yes. And I'm like, oh my God, this is not happening to me, you know? And then all you see is the streak of white because it's the dress. Right in the back, you can see it. And then all of a sudden the music starts playing and then here she comes.
And what was funny, my dad was so proud because he was dressed to kill.
Yep.
He was supposed to be waiting for me, but he was in the audience with everybody.
Showing
You like my
everybody.
suit? I like my suit too.
You like my
I
suit?
can see that.
like
I
my
can
suit.
see that.
You like
I
my
can
suit?
so
And
see your
it's
dad
just
doing that.
You know, and then so he forgot to tell her, let's go. You know what I mean?
And I peeked out at one point. I peeked out of the parlor, and the DJ was like, "They're out there waiting for you." And he said they've been out there a while. Like nobody told me.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
So you went running.
yeah, I was
Yeah.
flying.
So then, you know, now she's running down, like not running down the aisle. Well, almost running down the aisle because, you know, she's trying to keep her composure together, and you could see her kind of pulling
Because he's all like, no, I
I'm
want to
late.
get my
I'm
suit.
late, you know. Like I'm late. I'm already late, you know. Yeah. So and then the minister, she couldn't get her names right.
So my aunt, she's a lot older, and Shawn, to those who know me, my full name is Shantalia. She couldn't get it right to save her life, and she tried over and
She
over.
couldn't
and
get
she
the middle
just-
name at all.
Every time I
Yeah.
think she said my name, it was different.
Yeah.
Every single time
Yeah.
throughout the ceremony. So
We gotta see the video. Have you seen the video?
I haven't.
yeah.
I've never
We'll
seen the
have to
video.
We'll
Yeah,
bring
we'll
it
have to bring it
over
over.
because it's a trip.
Yeah.
Our
I'm trying to get
program
into
was
this
pretty cool too because I know you didn't get to make it, but our program was made up of bits and pieces from everybody.
Everybody.
So you wrote a poem that we actually put in the program.
Really?
Yeah. So
Yeah,
hilarious.
that was definitely, your wedding was definitely bittersweet with how everything kind of
Lots of stuff was
unfolded.
going
Yes,
on, yeah.
a lot of stuff.
So honeymoon. Where'd
Did you guys go anywhere?
we we went to this cabin in
Be nice.
in Greer, Arizona. Greer is on the border of Arizona and New Mexico.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we had never been there before, but we're driving. And then at some point, because it was late,
Yeah.
well, let me back up. We were supposed to leave the reception and go straight to the honeymoon before the sun went down.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody that was to help us clean up took off
They
hours
left.
prior, so we cleaned up.
We had to clean up.
Tux and dress,
course.
and
Yep.
you guys.
Yeah, we cleaned
Okay.
up.
Yeah,
so
we
then
were literally by ourselves.
clean.
Even Yana had left.
Yeah, and she was the
Yeah.
only one who had permission to leave because we made arrangements for her to be gone.
Yeah.
So since we were going to be gone a week.
Yep. And so
And-
we loaded everything up.
And
We
then had
cleaned
to
up,
drive
loaded everything up, drive
from
it.
Central Phoenix to Goodyear to
Yeah.
drop everything off
Yeah.
and then head back out.
Yep.
Wow.
So I
And
think
then I think we just did it the next day, right? Did we do
I
it
think
next day?
so.
I think we did.
Yeah, and then we were driving through, at that time, a lot of the areas in North Phoenix were on fire, so we had to, detour crazy. We finally get what we think we're in Greer, and then we realized we went too far because all of the radio stations were in Spanish,
Yes.
so we were in New
So
Mexico.
we were in New Mexico. So we had to turn back around and, and find the place. And
It was taking
dark.
a very, very,
Yeah.
very huge step back into time.
Yes, it was.
2000 and
No, but
what time did you guys get married?
place.
So we
what time?
got married in 2005.
Yeah.
So definitely no Google Maps.
No,
No.
Google Maps. Oh, no.
We
I
were
had,
using Tom.
Yeah,
Remember
Oh,
Tom?
okay.
Oh,
and an
yeah.
atlas. And an atlas. And so for all of y'all,
You use
I
an
made
atlas?
sure I would still have an atlas to this day. But they don't make them anymore.
No.
I don't think so.
Listen,
God.
I'm 31 years old. I do not understand how I just don't understand how we lived in this world without Google Maps. I don't know how we
Get you
got
lost,
anywhere.
though. Google Maps will get you
will
lost.
get you lost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just don't understand how we lived and just all right, we're gonna ask these people for directions and we're gonna get this big map
Yep.
and we're here. That
Yep.
doesn't if the map doesn't say you are here,
Yeah.
I don't know
I'm
where
lost.
they are.
I'm lost.
Yeah.
I'm lost.
Yeah.
So you guys went to a cabin. What was your first? Was it a wonderful, blissful cabin?
The cabin looked like it was put together maybe in 1960.
Yeah.
So we walk in and the
All the
furniture
furniture was
looked like
green.
the furniture was like stuff I saw in my grandmother's house back, when I was a
That
little
weird
kid.
olive green
Yeah.
There
metal.
was one thing, it looked like it was supposed to it looked like it was what they thought they were doing was putting a fur, like a bear fur, on the wall.
Yeah.
It was a teddy
It
bear
was a
that they
teddy bear
gutted
thing.
and they nailed to the wall.
It was a bear.
And
It
then
was
the bed
like a
was in
bearskin
the-
rug. That's what it was supposed to be like.
Technically, it's a
teddy bear.
bear skin.
It was technically.
It's a bear skin.
They
Technically.
absolutely nailed it to the wall.
And everything was in one room. You could
Yeah.
be in the bed and in the bathtub at the
At the
same
same time.
time.
Y'all had a studio cabin.
We had a studio cabin
Okay.
without an AC unit.
Yeah, no AC. We had 3 meetings.
In
in
July.
one room.
And y'all
So
just had this hot ass wedding.
we had 2 heaters and a fireplace.
Yeah.
And
We had 3
In
ways
Arizona.
of heating,
Uh-huh.
but no AC.
Yeah. So and then we're like, whatever. There's nothing for us to. It was so late. There was nothing
Yeah.
open. So we found a grocery store. So
Yeah.
our first wedding dinner was a TV
It
dinner.
was a TV dinner. Yeah.
Sheesh.
And then it got worse because we went to bed. We're asleep, and I wake up screaming because some unknown bug I have never seen is biting me. Yeah.
Oh my gosh! Hell no!
Yeah. Yeah. And then, remember the next day we said, we're going to try to make the best of things. And we're going to go on a hike. And we said, there's this creek. So let's go and get on, take a look at the creek and the river and whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a trickle. It's an absolute trickle. And we didn't realize it, but we were walking by it this whole time. And we were like,
Where's
this
the
creek is supposed to be right here. And then, Sean was like, there's a drip. Like, and I'm like, damn.
Did you guys stay the full week?
We did. We
no,
did.
it's a weekend, right? Was it a week? Were we there a week?
I
think it
thought
was there
it
3
was a
days.
week. Maybe it
I think it was 3 days. Because
Yeah.
we said we would do it better.
Next
later.
time. Yeah. And we were just ready to go by the
We were.
time our
We
time
were
was
so
up.
ready
We
to
were
go.
like, we're
But,
sweating to death every night.
Yes.
I'll tell you what though. We still had fun. And I think that's one of the things, because I think we're both very optimistic on a lot of things. We had fun. We really had a good time. Looking at the walls, looking at what we were in, you know what I mean, and thinking about the people that were at the wedding, and you know
the decorations. They had these feather boas.
Oh yeah, feather
that
boas.
were, I want to say they were wrapped around the bedpost. The bed had like bedpost all the way around, which looked like there should have been a curtain or something around it. But there were these really weird feather boas wrapped all the way around, and it was somebody who really liked animal print because there was leopard skin somewhere
and zebras somewhere else, and cheetahs there.
Hate leopard.
And then, you know, like I just told you, there was a bear stapled to the wall.
And the teddy bear was still intact because his head and everything, they literally just took the stuffing out of him and nailed him to the wall.
Nailed him to the wall.
That is horrible.
When we show you guys the video, you'll see him in the video. Yeah.
Oh, you guys had video of the...
We did. We did, didn't we?
We did.
Oh, God.
We did.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. This is hilarious.
Yeah.
So, that's good. Usually we kind of open it up after the wedding and immediately following the honeymoon. So when you guys got back from your honeymoon, you guys were already living together. Mm-hmm. So did you guys have a different feeling? Was it different?
Coming back home.
So when we came back home, the one thing Ray was adamant about, how long was it going to take me to start getting to places to change my last name? And I heard that like crazy.
Well, I just asked. And even though I'm so Shawn's maiden name is Jesse, and you know, and I'm James, so I'm like, dude, Jesse James. How many times could you really literally have Jesse James? I said, you know what? If you want to hyphenate it, go right on ahead, because I'll do it, and we'll both be Jesse James, and that'll be our name, you know. And Shawn was like, nope, I want James, and I said, okay, well, I'm not gonna fight you, you know, and literally you did it in a day.
Yeah, because I think I still had time off or something, but I remember going into what was it? The DMV and changing it, and they asked at the DMV if I wanted to hyphenate it because it was, you know, so like, no, just one last name. It'll just make it take. I'll have 2 full lines of name if I keep all of that name. So
okay, so then how long until Ray Jr.? Because he's like a clone of Ray's. Their pictures at the same age match each other.
Yeah. I think we started talking about kids after, because we moved shortly after we got married.
Yep.
Yeah, so it wasn't shortly after we moved. I want to say it was like right after.
No.
It was right after we got married. We started talking about how long should we wait for kids.
Yeah. And then was it something we should plan or should just let happen? And then we just said, we'll let fate happen, and then it'll just happen. Well, fate took a long time, and we got a little nervous.
And then
lot nervous.
Then the us got scientific, which made it more fun, and we quit worrying about, if it happens. So we were using all of these prediction methods, and we were using like the saliva method, which was awesome. It was super cool just watching the different aspects daily, and we were using the temperature method and just all this crazy stuff. And we were getting ready to take a trip to Virginia, and we took a test. I want to say, how long? We weren't married that long. Maybe, what?
It took a year to get Ray Shawn here.
Maybe about, did we go to Virginia, though? It was about 8 months after we got married.
I think I remember y'all trip to Virginia. It was that the trip where y'all met?
Yeah.
Because we were together. Obviously, before you guys had Ray Shawn, we were together because Leah and Ray Shawn are so close together.
Yeah.
They came the same year.
It was that same
everybody's
time
in the same
because we tested before we left to get on the plane and came back negative. We're like, well, we're done. Whatever. Let's get on the plane.
We're just gonna have fun.
And we get to Virginia. We have fun. We meet you. And everything's great. Yana loved you from day one.
Yes.
As they were talking
Hold on,
about.
I think she was in trouble for something.
She probably was because she was going through
It
a
was
lot of
something because I met her, and then I know that you and Terrell went to the side, but I could see your face, and I was like, I'm gonna have to talk to Terrell to make sure that he is okay. But I don't know what was wrong, because when I met Yada, she was like, hey, But then, like, it was a look on her face, and I was like, what's wrong? And then she was just like, well, Mom, I don't even remember what happened, but she was going off about something.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, and then I came to you and was like, oh, she's upset. And you was just like, she's always upset. She's always upset. So
She was notorious for venting that she
Yeah.
upset me. Like,
Yeah.
Yana, you call me she one more time.
We just had this conversation too. Like literally,
Just
yeah.
earlier today.
Yes,
So-
I definitely remember that. So, yes. So you guys took a test before you came to Virginia?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
And it was negative,
Yep.
and we go to Virginia, we hang out, have fun, whatever. It's time to come back, and our plane got rerouted, and we ended up getting transferred all over the place trying to get back home. We finally get to, I can't remember if we were in Vegas or where we were at, but we finally get on a plane where me, Ray, and Yana are not sitting by each other, and I was so sick, so
Yeah.
horribly sick.
This was 2006 or 7.
2006.
Six.
Uh-huh.
So by the time you guys met, we probably already had the first the miscarriage.
Yes.
Then so that was before. Okay. So I'm trying to get my timeline right. Okay.
Yeah.
So by the time you guys met for the first time, it was just like, oh, no wonder you was looking, because I couldn't figure it out, because you were aggressive, but you weren't. It's like, should I be upset or does he like me? So he was just, so Terrell was very confused. How did you feel?
I was unsure.
Yeah, you were kind of confused. He was just like, because the first thing he was like, is he like that with everybody? I was like, absolutely not.
I just wasn't sure because there was a vibe of kind of like,
I give that.
protectiveness.
why.
But he had a smile on his face. So it was
It's
like,
that-
I'm not
that
sure.
Cheshire
Yeah.
cat smile. Like, I'm
Right.
smiling, but I'm not happy.
But I'm not happy.
And then I remember the one thing that I remember the most about when I met Ray was when I said hi to him and I said who I was, and he was like, and you are? And
Damn it.
I was like, Simone's boyfriend. Oh, okay.
Like, Simone got a what?
Oh my gosh. I was so like, oh, I'm gonna have to explain this when you leave. Because I saw it in your face, but I could see that he was confused. But I knew it. I was like, he is being so mean right now.
Yeah, probably.
and before you guys left, I was just like, for real, you had to do all that? You was like, absolutely.
He
I think
pulled him
what
aside where I couldn't
Yeah.
hear, though, because I'm usually his voice of reason.
Yes.
And I've been like, Ray, stop.
It wasn't that bad though. I mean,
No.
yeah, he wasn't. It was normal protectiveness over his little sister. I recognize it. So
I think you're
But
the only guy that he's ever met.
I am. Yeah,
Yes.
you are.
I ain't bringing nobody around Ray. Heck no. Look, no. If it ain't serious, no, absolutely not.
So you had never been to Virginia before, right? What were your thoughts?
I
of
loved
Virginia?
it.
Really?
So it was like the Phoenician in me came out. I think me and Yana both said the same thing.
It's so green,
What?
huh?
It's raining? And we went out and played in the rain.
Yeah.
Yeah, we absolutely, because
y'all know it don't
rain
rain
is
here.
scarce here. And I think the second time we went when it was raining, because I ran back out again, people thought I was nuts.
Yeah.
Like, oh my gosh, no, this is awesome. It's
Yeah.
raining. Yay. But
Yeah.
no, I loved it though. I loved just because everything here is brown. The trees, the animals, everything is brown. Everything is so green, and it was awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, it's green back home. I think that's what most people say. But it's funny because, I guess it's just all about where you're from and what you've experienced. Because people that from back home that come visit out here are like, it's so beautiful out here. It's so open, and you can see because there's not many places in Virginia where you can see miles away.
Yeah.
There's gonna be some trees or something like that that's gonna block your view. We can literally see 30, 40 miles away at certain points, especially when you get on the overpass.
Yeah. But Sean's not looking out.
They were laughing
She's
like
okay.
with the overpass. I never even get on the overpass on the outer ring.
Yep.
I always turn
That
in the
inner-
inner ring.
Yeah.
So yeah, close. So I wanted to talk about you guys' the age difference in your kids. So Yana and Ray Shawn are
15 years apart.
15 years. And we thought we was struggling with 7.
Yeah.
6.
So, and then Keith and Ray Shawn are
2 years.
2 years. Okay. So you guys didn't have any issues with like the
What?
15-year separation
No.
between.
You know what? Initially, it was an adjustment for Yana, and what was funny, her dad had 2 kids at the same time. We had Ray, Shawn, and Keith. So she ended up with 2 sets of siblings at the same time.
Wow.
So she accepted having the little sister with her dad because she was closer to me. But when we had Ray Shawn, again, we had the emotional roller coaster all over again. And that I've got a lot to give, and nobody's going to be left out, and you're going to be a part of this. And once Ray Shawn got here, we forced Ray Shawn on her every chance we could to make her understand you're not going anywhere. You're a part of this.
Yeah.
And then it was a baby, so it took him a while just to get used to everybody. But they're close. They're really close now. And even with Yana and Keith, it's funny. The oldest and the youngest are so much alike. They fight so much. It's like, what is that, 17? 17 years between those two. And they are so much alike. It's crazy. So, but
Yeah, because if Leah was 15 when we had Lyric, that would have been, babysitting.
We leaving. But they argue too. And I told Leah, I'm like, if someone was to look at y'all from afar, they not gonna know which one of y'all is 5. Like, it's just ridiculous. Like they argue.
So, and that's the reason why I wanted to ask, because our 2 kids are 6 to 7 years apart, and I wanted to know if there's some type of thing to be said about how the years that they are apart, but. Just seeing Ray, Shawn, and Keith, I see that they argue a lot. They, stuff like that.
Keith likes to antagonize Ray Shawn, but Ray Shawn likes to pick, like physically pick.
He Loraxes Keith.
He does.
Because he's the older brother, he feels like he's got
that
upper
speak
hand.
for him and things like that. Like for the longest time, we thought Keith wasn't going to speak because Ray Shawn spoke for him so much. Before Keith could say a word, Ray Shawn would be the first one to say he needs this or he wants this or whatever.
And he still does it now.
He still does it now.
But it drives Keith nuts because Keith desperately wants to be his own person.
I'm my own person.
I can talk.
I'm my own person. Thank you. Yeah.
That's good. That's good. I missed this question. I wanted to ask this. How did you guys come up with Ray Shawn's name? Like, was it?
that was
Ayana.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
She saw and it got funnier with Keith, but she saw that Ray had this crazy list of names, and we were having a hard time narrowing it down.
What was one of them?
There was no we. I had
Quantavious.
Keith's was a mess. Ray Shawn's wasn't as bad because we had names that were actual legitimate names.
I need to know what was one of the names on it. What was it? Lucius? Was it?
Okay,
Lucius?
so let me tell you. So
when
Lucius,
y'all hear Lucius, what do you think?
Okay, so I literally just met a Lucius, and you know what? Like nobody has that as a name, but I was I love that name. It's awesome. So.
And then we added Bishop on top of that.
So originally I
did like that one. I did like Bishop.
I was really into his name. I really wanted Keith to be Bishop James. That's what I wanted. And it got twisted because we were joking and I said, well, let's just name him Lucius.
And
right?
that was before R. Kelly was the mess
trapped
he
in the closet,
is now.
and all of that stuff. And it was Bishop Lucius, right? It was so then
Bishop
she was just
Lucius.
Like, so she was just like, well, let's just call him Bishop Lucius. I'm like, that's just crazy. We're not going to do that. But the way it sounds like it rolls. And so she was like, absolutely not. And so by then, she doesn't want to hear me. So and you have to understand, you guys, I had an Excel spreadsheet of names. And I'm going to say it now. I know I overwhelmed her when she's pregnant, and here I come with this scroll of names, multiple names.
Right.
Because at that time, we didn't know it was a boy or a girl or whatever. And so then I'm like, what do you think? And Shawn looks at this whole list and says, I hate them all.
So yeah.
And it wasn't even like, it was literally like a glance, and I put hours into this name, and she just glanced over and told me, I don't like any of them. And I'm like, okay, so wait a minute. So Okay, so then I circled the ones that I really liked, and I said, "What do you think about these?" And she looks at them. She says, "I just don't know. I need time." And I said, "Okay." So time went on, and it was when and let me explain this too, because when Keith was here, or coming here or whatever, I think Shawn was like in denial because we just had Ray Shawn, and so from beginning of you're pregnant to I'm having a baby, Shawn was like, I'm not pregnant. I don't know what you're talking about. Like it was like all a haze, and she's dealing with, because Shawn's amazing, so she's dealing with the daycare, she's dealing with kids, she's dealing with all of this.
And Ray was going to school full time.
Yep.
So
And
I was in Yana. And by that time, Yana was a senior in high school. We had moved to North Phoenix, but she continued her high school at La Jolla so she could graduate with her class. So basically, I was almost by myself like 24 hours a day with babies.
Yeah.
So,
And so here Ray comes with this spreadsheet, and I'm just like, okay.
and then, you know what? Before you even finish with Keith's going back, he had the same nonsense of a spreadsheet with Ray Shawn.
Yep.
And Yana heard the nonsense going on. And she's so sick of hearing us, my guess. So she comes downstairs and says, why don't you guys just name him Ray Shawn?
No, we were in the store. Remember, we were in the store, and she said that she was talking about a boy named Ray Shawn. And then we were like, what is his name? And she said Ray Shawn. And we were pregnant. And that's when I remember saying, what do you think about that? Like literally Ray Shawn. And Shawn was like, I love it. And I was
We are done.
That's such a perfect name.
It was so funny. Poor Kenya. I love this story. It was about 5 or 6 months ago. Kenya and Earl are driving around, whatever.
Oh gosh,
And
she's so slow.
I love this story so much. They were
Don't tell
they
me
were
this.
texting Ray something, and Kenya said, "Well, I think I texted the wrong person." She said, "I think I texted Ray Shawn." Earl said, "Oh, because his name is next to Uncle Ray." And so when she physically looked, she's like, "Uncle Ray, Aunt Shawn, Ray Shawn."
She's such a genius. I love her. Because she then calls
You're not telling me
Aaliyah,
at 12 she just
and
realized
Aaliyah
that.
comes running down the stairs, and she was like, "Let me tell you what Kenya just said." And she told me, and I'm just like, "Are you?" For her to be so smart, like, cause she's amazingly
brilliant.
smart.
Yeah.
I'm like, "Are you serious?"
She's still laughing to the second about it. I'm like, poor Kenya.
Yeah.
I was like, seriously.
How? I don't know how. I don't know how.
Okay.
I don't know how.
Yeah,
But that's amazing.
Yeah, Keith didn't get Dad's first name, but he has Dad's middle name,
Yeah.
so they both have a piece of Ray's name.
Yep.
And then the only reason we kicked Ray off the name list too was because he won't be consistent. So Ray Shawn's middle name
consistent.
got changed as we were signing the birth certificate.
That is true.
So if you
What
look
was it
at
supposed to be?
Alexander, and it's Anthony now. And so his baby shower
Why
cake
did you
has Ray
change?
Shawn Alexander, and
Yeah.
because this is Ray.
So it was supposed to be Alexander, yes. But I had remembered a story that Ma had told and said that my name was supposed to be Anthony. And I was like, oh, that's perfect. You know what I mean? And it's kind of close to Alexander. So let's just go ahead and put Anthony on the...
Goodness.
Did you consider because you're a third, right?
I'm the third,
So
yes.
did you consider
A fourth?
having him?
We
one of your
did,
kids
but
be a
it
fourth?
goes by grandparents. So my grandfather named me. So then his grandfather named him. So it's skipped by grandparents. So technically, if Ray Shawn or Keith has a son, they should name him a fourth.
Okay. So
And that's obviously their choice.
okay, duh, right? I don't know what I was thinking right there. So your grandfather's name is Raymond James. Okay.
Yes.
I don't know why I was thinking his dad for some reason. I was like, wait, okay. Yeah, I'm stupid.
Whole nother
Had
story.
the Kenya complexion.
That's a whole
right
nother story.
there. So you guys have been married for how?
15 years.
15 years.
Yep.
If you guys could take one thing and say that this is the key to a successful, happy marriage, what would you say?
Communication.
I would say honesty, good or bad, be honest.
Communication, talk about everything. Everything, whether it's good, whether it's bad. any of that.
10 more minutes.
Yeah. And I mean,
And we
even
talk
if-
about everything.
If you're having a bad day or I've made you mad or sad or whatever, just be honest. And
Yeah.
you can't get hung up on hurt feelings. You need to be honest because it'll
Yep.
drag a problem out a lot longer.
It will.
Yeah.
15.
And I think we don't have the energy to fight.
Yeah.
I was just
literally
about to ask you
don't.
guys about fighting.
Yeah.
Yeah, we literally don't have the energy to fight, so we try to talk everything out before we even get to a
Yeah.
possibility of a fight or argument.
Because I was just about to say that we went through you guys' whole story, and we have yet to hear a fight or a major breakup or anything like that. How do you guys do?
There's
How do you
not
guys
one.
do that?
Yeah.
No, not. How do you
Yeah.
guys get that far without that?
And then that's it. You know, it's literally if there's something I'm confused about or I don't understand or maybe I didn't think through or anything like that, then we talk about it. You know, and you know, whether it's early, whether it's late, whether it's hey, I need to wake you up because I need to get this off my chest or whatever. It's a conversation about it. And that's the one thing I think we have about the both of us is that, you know, people can come, no, not everybody, literally everybody could literally come to us and have a conversation with us. And we do it with each other. You know, Shawn is my rock. And so I'm going to go to her with everything. Like, hey, you know what? I was thinking about this. What do you think? You know what I mean? Or
I try to Ray's funny too. He second guesses a lot of things. He second guesses a lot of his abilities. Me, on the other hand, I don't know when to quit.
she does.
So, so I'm like, well, let's try it and see what happens. And
Yep.
if he didn't do it or can't do it, now we know
Now
it's
we know.
broken. Now let's call a professional.
Yeah.
Considering the fact that you guys were together when you guys were in your 20s, it makes sense because you have all of that yelling already out of your system from other people.
Yeah.
Like, you know what the yelling and the arguing and the whether someone broke something or the screaming. So you know what you don't like already. You don't have to go down that road to figure out how we're going to talk to each other. I know what I didn't like from him. I know what I didn't like from her.
Yeah.
So we're not bringing that into here.
Yeah.
We know what we want.
I know how this feels.
Yeah.
When somebody does this to me, I know how that feels.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to do that ever. Like, you know what I mean? And it's also being considerable, you know, having the other person in consideration as well. Like, you know, if I did this, how do you think I would make her feel? Like, you know what I mean? And it's certain things like that, you know, is then once again, it goes back to the conversation.
And then we try to keep everything, we try to humor each other a lot.
Yeah.
Because I think that helps. Not every situation needs to be brought down to, I guess, like a depressed level. Like we try to see humor and light in everything to try to get through, even if it's a bad time. Like now, like Corona.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
Well, you know,
Gosh.
and
Yeah.
it was a real good. We had a conversation the other day, and we hadn't realized it, but since we've been together, we moved 7 times,
We actually
just had that
just went
conversation.
over how many times we've
Yeah.
moved since we've been together.
and you know, and obviously not all of those times was really our fault, but you know, it's to the point of we moved our stuff
7
different
times.
places 7 times, and you know,
We
and,
got through it without killing each other.
Yeah.
Yes, moving brings the bad out in you. You know, you're tired, you're exhausted and
Sucks.
everything. Yeah.
Shaking and walking in Walmart.
Yeah, we
God.
moved one time and we're tired. Everything's moved. It's like, this was before Walmart closed early.
Yeah.
We get everything moved in and Ray's like, it's 1:00 in the morning. Who wants to go to Walmart?
Yeah,
I'm like,
right.
no, we're going to bed. He drags us to Walmart and you can see him. He's shaking, trying to push the car because he's tired.
So tired.
Yeah, and then me and Mike find a bench and we lay back to back in the middle of the
Yeah,
store.
and
Like,
they were
Ray, go
asleep.
get what you think you need. I'm going to
Yep.
bed in the middle of the store. I'm going to bed.
Yeah. Yeah.
So.
I wanted to ask you guys this before we wrap up, because you mentioned the coronavirus, so it kind of got me thinking about the current state of our country. With you two guys having 2 black sons, and they're going to be sizable, I think we could safely say.
Sizable now.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Have you guys had or thought about the talk with them about, I guess, being black in America?
we've hit that talk a lot because in our family, I can't speak for everybody else's, but our family is blended on a lot of levels. So we have, a police background. My sister's a police officer. My brother-in-law is a DPS officer, and then we have a DOC officer in the family. So we've explained both sides because I don't want them to be afraid of the police because not all police officers are bad, but not all of them are good, and I don't want them to be targets. Keith, who is more passionate, so if he's angry, it shows. He's very angry, which will make him a target, and I want him to learn how to remain calm so that he's not a target. So I'm praying that he's never in a situation where he's going to be looked at a certain way just because he is black. And I don't want them to either be afraid of people behind a badge either because their aunt wears the badge and she's not a bad officer. My brother-in-law, who is white, is not a bad officer. Given the current state we're in right now, if you didn't know him, you would think that maybe he was.
Right.
So it's hard because myself, I had this talk with my sister. I've had my own personal run-ins with bad officers, tons of them. And in each circumstance, my sister has said she wishes, we had reported it to a higher authority because there are indeed bad officers. But she said no different than they're bad teachers. Nobody's shutting schools down.
Right.
They're bad daycare providers. There's bad. What is your guy? Recruit officers. There's bad people in every field.
Right.
So I just don't want them to learn to fear people, but I want them to be cautious and learn how to read people and be aware. Yeah, because I don't want the phone call, and I don't want it to be something that'll be covered up if, God forbid, they ever get in a situation.
Would they be able to call on your sister? Like if something was happening, if they felt unsafe or something like that, would they be able to?
Is that she's supposed to remain impartial.
Correct.
Because of family matters, whatever. But you can always call the police on the police.
Yes.
And whether or not they oblige and call their superior, they're supposed to. So if you feel threatened or if you're cornered or if you are indeed 100% innocent, they're supposed to respond and respect that you're asking for a superior officer to help you.
Okay.
I definitely I definitely like that because Aaliyah, she seems to be scared, but it's even before this whole situation happened. Like if we're driving and I'll just look at my review and I'm like, Aaliyah, make sure you have your seatbelt on, and she'll say, oh, it's on. Why? And I'm like, oh, because there's a cop behind us. She'll instantly be like, oh my God. And I'm just like, what is you upset for? Like, we're not doing anything wrong.
Do you know why she's like that?
She's always been like that. What I do?
You were like that.
With the cops?
You were like that. You're excitable, dear.
Okay.
You've always been that way.
Me and Terrell had this conversation because I was like, you know what? I think I'm just too animated. I went back on a couple of our shows.
We're both very animated. That's why, yeah.
And I would crack myself up. Like, I would hear myself say something and be weak.
Yeah.
And just be like, why the hell am I such a fool? Like, I don't know why. What made me say this at that time? But, like, she is genuinely afraid, though. And I'm just like, well, we've never had anything bad happen to us. And I try to kind of, maybe I'll have her talk to your sister because she gets scared. Yeah. But now, because, of course, there's TikTok and all this stuff, everyone wants to film everything. Yeah. Now she can see it. And she's just like, oh, my gosh, like, what happens? But, of course, we had to have the talk. If you ever get stopped, what do you do? And you have to do this, and you have to do that. But then there's also, oh, well, if another race does this, then they get off scot-free. You can't look at everybody else and look at what they can do.
Right.
Yeah.
It's not the same. Unfortunately, it's not the same, and you have to do these things. And sometimes you do them, and it still doesn't pan out. But as long as you do what you're supposed to do, and keep in mind that I'm going to make it home, that's it. They want you to get on the ground, you get on the ground. They want you out of the car, get out of the car. Maybe you're not treated fairly, but do what you need to do to make it home. Yes. Don't fight, don't argue, whatever the case may be. And then once either they take you to jail or once they let you go, then we'll start the battle. But you arguing back and forth with them and resisting arrest, We're not doing that.
Right.
Just do whatever they want you to do, and keep in mind, all I want to do is make it home.
And it's not all one race either with the officers.
Nope.
The story I shared with my sister quite a few years ago before I met Ray, I was involved in a car accident. I was T-boned severely. So I was hit on the driver's side of the car. And the driver's side was smashed all the way in, like pushed me all the way to the passenger side of the car. They knocked me completely off of the street into the strip mall. And I'm now, the car is like driving sideways. And I remember standing on top of the brake with both feet trying to get the car to stop. And I stopped maybe that far from hitting a parked car. So the officer that shows up, I get out of the car on the passenger side. The car, which should be shaped like this, is now shaped like this because there's no driver's side anymore. I get out on the passenger side, and the officer that shows up, this little Hispanic guy, is screaming at me bloody murder, demanding for proof of insurance. My glove box is now like this, and I can't get it open. And I'm telling him, look, my glove box is jammed shut. It's like, and you're out here driving, and I know you better have insurance. And I'm thinking, you can run my plates and see if I have insurance, but I'm like, I'm not going to argue. I can't get the glove box open. You can physically see that. So I call my insurance agent. And my insurance agent can hear the officer screaming at me like he's nuts. Like he didn't offer me an ambulance, considering I had just been
Like
hit.
I was the victim,
Like,
right?
And even the guy who hit me started feeling bad because I was being attacked by the officer. So my insurance agent says, well, Shawn, he's going to write you a ticket for no proof of insurance. Just take the ticket because the court is going to throw it out, and you need to get out of this because he sounds like he's nuts.
Yeah.
So I said, okay, fine, write me a ticket because I can't get the glove box open. I think I need the hospital.
Right, exactly.
So sure enough, they throw the ticket out. I call my sister later and tell her this story, and I didn't even have the officer's name anymore because I think I was distraught.
Yeah.
But she said, considering that circumstance, I should have asked for another officer to come out because he immediately got out of his car and just went ham on me.
Yeah.
So, and I said, even with that experience, I don't blame all of them because they're not all, monsters, but those that are monsters, if unfortunately you do run in with one, the only thing I could suggest is just
do what they want you to
they
do.
want because something's wrong with them and they mean you harm and just...
And they're waiting for a reason.
Right,
Yeah.
right. Just try
Don't
to get
give
out
them
of
a
it.
reason.
Yeah. But with my mom being, our grandmother being DOC, I mean, we've seen the badge all the time. We've ironed the uniform and things like that. So even though she's not a cop, we understand the badge and things like that. But then again, you see what's going on. So it's like you have to teach both at the end of the day.
I think that the relationship between the police and the community, especially the Black community, it's gonna take both sides for it to be repaired and for it to come together. Because us as Black people have to, stop generalizing FTP, fuck the police, and we have to point out and hold accountable those police officers that are not doing their job properly, and not include and have collateral damage with the police officers that actually are good or actually have relationships with the community, that actually serve and protect, that treat everyone fairly. But also, it's going to take the police officers to also point out and hold accountable the police officers that aren't doing their job correctly, and not just protect them and take their side just because they have a badge. Now I know, Ray, you could probably speak to kind of the brotherhood or just kind of the general thought of we have your back no matter what from being in the military. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I understand that there's a brotherhood and you just don't turn your back on somebody, but in the sense of humanity and protecting everyone the same, I think they do have to point out and hold the people accountable that are giving them a bad name. Right. Because it's not all bad police.
It just also kind of sucks for the good ones, though, because I remember a story where a guy was just doing a regular traffic stop on a guy, and the guy literally, he said, was shaking behind the wheel, like visibly shaking. And he kind of asked him, like, are you okay? What's wrong? Do you need a medic? And he just started bawling, crying. I just don't want you to shoot me. And the guy, he said, I was shocked. He was like, you just didn't turn on your blinker when you turned this way. And I was just, or it was out or something. And I just wanted to let you know. He was like, I was just going to have a warning. He was like, but to see him physically scared and shaken, he was like, that really hurt my feelings.
Yeah.
You know, it was like it hurt my heart to see people act like that. And I think the other day we went somewhere and a cop got behind me and I didn't know how affected I was until they were behind me, and I started to get super nervous, just nervous out of nowhere. And Terrell was just talking, and I watched that mirror the whole entire time. I think they followed us until we got almost to or they didn't follow us, but they were behind us until we got to the neighborhood. But you know how they do the kind of you get up behind you because they're running your plates kind of thing. I knew that they were running our plates, but I mean, they didn't do anything. I wasn't doing anything wrong, but I was nervous as hell. And that's the first time I've ever really been nervous of them being behind me. And I was like, oh my gosh, like why am I nervous though? Like, we've never had an issue around here, but I don't want to be the example.
And the good cops have said, I've talked to one a few weeks ago who said they're just as nervous because their bad officer brethren has made it so bad for them. I saw a cluster of officers. They were blocking a street I was going down. And so I stopped. They were Phoenix officers, and I asked if they knew my sister. And 3 of them looked at me really confused, like, what? No, I what are you talking about? Then a veteran officer comes out. He's like, I haven't heard that name in a while, and she's retired, and blah, blah, blah. He's going on and on. He said, I'll be retired in 5 years. I hope I can make it that long. So they're terrified that, you know, with all of the bad protests and everything, that he's going to be caught up in some degree of retaliation and not live to see it.
So probably last question before we wrap up, when you did kind of teeter-tot on the subjects, how did the boys react to it?
They weren't scared because they grew up around it. And we try not to have them get so caught up in what they see in social media because it's not always accurate, but to just do right by people, do right by everybody, and just try to stay out of trouble. And that's basically it. Treat everybody right. Yeah, but they weren't.
Listen and do. Stop being so passionate and just literally do what you're supposed to do. If they ask you to do something, abide by it. Yeah. Because what's going to really happen in the end, the truth's going to come out.
Right.
You know what I mean? Justice will actually happen. And so, yes. So don't be afraid of the situation. Right. Everybody's got your back, so you're fine. Yeah, you know what I mean? So
we don't want them to be afraid of the police, though. I think that's a terrible thing because if, for say, you do genuinely need help, you and the good ones show up, that's their job to sit there and help you. But if they all quit, which a lot of them have been quitting because of everything that's going on, we're going to be in a lot of trouble. So.
What are we going to do then? Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, you got to be honest. It's like, if somebody's breaking into my house and I call 911, I'm going to need a police officer to come help. Like, you know what I mean? That's how that's going to be. It's not, heaven forbid they say, oh, who's coming in? Like, you know what I mean? Oh, no, we not doing that.
Twana said there was a meme she saw somewhere. It said, if things keep going and officers keep quitting, it's going to be one of those, well, I'm going to call 911 because I need help. And the answering officer is going to be like, well, our thoughts and prayers are with you because we don't have any officers.
We don't have that.
To go.
Do you have a Bible in your home?
We do.
No. I'm being the cop on the other line. Yeah, there's some guy breaking in my house. Do you have a Bible in your home? Yeah. Grab your Bible. Come on, let's say a prayer
together.
Let's say a prayer. So this is pretty much the end portion of the interview part.
We have the thing that we do at the end of the interview where we leave with love. Do you want to start or you want them to start?
We'll go first.
Okay. So what you basically do is you think of something that you really, really love about that person and you tell them.
It could be small. It could be big. Nonetheless. I'm going first?
Yes.
I didn't think about this. Let's see. I love... You gotta be engaged, though. You gotta be engaged. Okay. I love that, Simone... I love that you have a switch from like, and it's like a light switch, but one side is like wonderful angel, nice, kind-hearted Simone, and the other switch is just like, I will tear your head off. I love how the switch can be got, because Simone will be out in the grocery store and you'll, let every person pass, even if it means them separating us two. Like me, I don't let nobody separate. Like if she's going, then I'm going right behind her. But it'd be plenty of times where I go and then I'll turn around and Simone will be nowhere to be found. And she's like, oh, I let the bunch of people go. And she's so nice, but let like somebody in the same grocery store in the same day, let somebody like come and walk and stand in front of where she's looking at. Like she's looking at the honey
Cereal.
nut Cheerios or whatever. She's looking at the honey nut Cheerios and somebody just walks in front of her and just stands in front of her and looks at the honey nut Cheerios. I could have sworn we was looking at the.
I hate that. I can't stand that because it makes me feel like, oh, when you ain't shit, I'm about to stand in front of you and look at my cereal, and I just be like, I'm short, but you see me? Like, how dare you feel as though I ain't shit, and you can just stand in front of me. Because I always stand
Terrell,
on
that's that switch you were talking about. You just switched it.
I stand on the far end. So if I'm looking at the cereal, I'm always on the other end where whatever it is on the other side to make sure that people are able to get through. But you obviously see me. Why would you stand right in front of me? That is such a pet peeve. I'm sorry, but go ahead. I hate that.
So that's saying the thing that I love about you, that I'm saying that I love about you, is just that you have that switch and you treat people accordingly. You treat people fairly. You're nice to everyone until they have an offense, and then you let them know about their offensive behavior. Mm-hmm. So I love that about you because you are a kind person, but you can go there.
Thank you. Well, I love how you're thoughtful. You're very thoughtful, especially with all the coronas and all of the stuff that's been going on. Like, I don't know, like just stuff has just been turning up. Like I'll say, oh man, working from home, the chair that I'm sitting in, my back hurts. All of a sudden a chair showed up. And I'm like, what is this coming in on? And I checked my Amazon. Oh, she nothing on the list. And then he bought a chair for my back. And then he bought like a little back support thing. And I was like, oh, you were listening. And for our anniversary, I have a whole Eeyore suit.
Oh my God.
It
has a tail and everything.
Mouse pad. It has a tail. Like I was just like, don't touch mine. Like it was just wonderful. So I love how thoughtful you are and have been, especially with everything going on. Like it's very surprising. So I do appreciate and I love that about you.
All right, I love you. Good.
All right, guys, your turn.
I'll go first. I love how Ray is my smile provider. So whether we're having a bad day or I'm having a bad day or maybe we just need to pick me up, he always knows it. And he will either send me a message just out of the blue, right on time. And it's like he's tapped into whatever I've got going on enough to either get me to smile or laugh. And if not, he'll start the morning off with coffee, which absolutely makes me happy. Or flowers. Flowers, just because flowers are probably the biggest smile provider ever, because it's literally just because it's Wednesday, 1:02 in the afternoon. Here's some flowers. Yeah. Aww. So I love that because he does these spontaneous things to always leave me with a smile.
Word. So, Shawn is everything to me. And we just had your birthday. And we did
the Cry Fest. Oh my gosh.
Yes, the absolute Cry Fest. But I've always said it. Absolutely, Shawn is my sunshine. And so if I'm having a hard day, because I have those, and or if I'm having a good day or something like that, and it is absolutely the same. It's Shawn will send me some of the craziest stuff, and
I sent one earlier this week, and I think he said he had to go outside and
I had to go outside and laugh.
Together. Yeah,
I literally had to go outside and laugh, and I need that. I need that feeling that I know somebody is always in my corner, and because life can be tough. Life is very, especially now. Life is really, really tough, and just to know that I've got somebody that is in my corner is absolutely amazing. And what's really sad is that there are a lot of people who don't have that.
Yeah.
And so I'm absolutely blessed that I actually get a chance to wake up to her every single day. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I can start my day, get through my day with her, and then still see her before I close my eyes. So, which is even better. So, appreciate you.
Appreciate hanging out with you at my insomniac hour.
Oh gosh, yes.
So
Watching
we are
Twilight
finished. How was it? Was it
As bad as you thought it was
as bad as
going
you
to
thought?
be?
Because you was
No.
yeah.
In fact, I thought it was gonna be.
Yeah.
I thought you were gonna pull some questions.
See, and I told you that I won't.
Which I think, I'm actually surprised you didn't. You know what I mean? Not that they're bad questions, but I thought you were gonna go a little bit deeper. So, which is
No, well, I knew how nervous you were.
No?
So, I
fine.
didn't Simone you.
You know what's so funny? I wasn't nervous about me. I was nervous about her because
Shawn
I
has been
might
around
say
us 15
something.
years. She just gonna be like that, Simone.
She's gonna be like, "Oh, Ray, don't you answer that question? Can we just say pass on that question?"
Yeah, there's not too many things that
Yeah.
were, I think that we're worried about anyway.
No.
Yeah.
It's fun as usual.
Confidence.
Yep.
Confidence. So
Before we do close, I do want to say that I appreciate our relationship. And I guess thinking about like when you guys had started and then gotten married and things like that kind of took me back. But I appreciate our relationship because it doesn't fester on bad stuff. And I mean, we've had our arguments here and there. And I love the fact that they don't take long to get over. Like if we have a spat, it'll be maybe a day or two, and then you'll either have something or I'll have to go to your house for something, and I'll just talk to Shawn like, "Oh, hey, Shawn, how you doing?" And then you'll come in the room and you'll be like,
Yeah.
"Hey,
try to
Smo,
Yep.
Ray,"
Yeah.
and then we'll just go outside and then we'll talk about it, and then that's it. And then this is it. I just love the way that it doesn't. Nothing festers. It's like, okay, we're gonna have to have this conversation. We have a conversation, and we're done. So, like you said, communication. So I appreciate that.
Well, I think part of that is really just being comfortable, because life itself will take you out of your comfort zone. And so, and as you already know, and everybody already knows, Ray's pretty daggone positive, but it's not always positive, and I understand that. But you have to move forward. If you sit there and be upset and be angry or whatever, you are actually putting energy into being angry and upset.
Actually, it's tiring.
And what happens is you're tired.
Yeah.
You're tired. I done thought about you in all kinds of angry face ways, and this happening and that happening. And what did you do? You actually put bad energy. You put work into being upset. Why do you do that? When you can put that work and you can direct that work into being positive
Just have
and growth.
Right. Just having a
What
conversation.
I mean? Why would you do that?
Yeah.
And so no, I don't.
Yeah.
I don't enjoy being upset, and I don't enjoy being upset, mad, or anything like that. And a lot of people will come to me and they say, "Ray, I've never ever seen you frown." And well, one, I've got Shawn, so there's part of that. But the other part is honestly, why? Why? We had a conversation about the cop thing and the racism thing and things like that. But many people don't know I've had a cross burned in my yard. And I've dealt when I've run from school, being hurt and being attacked and being beat up and things like that, and had to fight for things, so many things. Why should I fight now?
Right.
I done been through the worst. That's the way I see it. I done been through the worst, and but life, I keep going with life, obviously, things like that. But no, I'm not.
But I would say that you're absolutely right. It takes a lot of effort to continuously being upset with someone. Mm-hmm. And I can remember when me and Shawn had our tiff, and I think either I called her or she called me, and I was just like, Shawn, I'm tired of being. Are you cool? We cool? Like I can't. It's like, okay, we're gonna sit here, we're gonna have this conversation because I can't be mad at you no more. Mm-hmm. And after a while, I just cannot continuously be mad at somebody. It's either I just don't fool with you no more, and that's fine. Yeah. Or, okay, we're going to have a sit down, and we're going to have to talk about this because I can't continue to be mad. Like, you cool? Like, are you so mad at me? Like, if I text you or call you, I'm like, are you so mad? Are you still mad? Okay, I'm going to give you like a couple days. You still mad? Like, we still mad? Okay. Because I just can't physically continuously.
And it's funny because me and Ray have talked about that. I think with me, it's maybe it's the Gemini, but it's not even anger. It's always hurt. Yeah. Like, it's just so much hurt. It's like almost like I've gone like to the land of crazy because the level of hurt is just through the roof. Yeah. And I think once I'm there, just like once I figure out what how to fix it or whatever, then I'll come back. But the whole angry thing, that's a totally different monster. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But I just wanted to say I appreciate that.
Yeah. And we appreciate you guys for coming onto our podcast.
Aww.
Awesome. Thank you. Thanks for having us.
So ready?
Yeah.
I am VA verse for the Jameses, Ray and Shawn. I am VA verse. Across from me, smiling, looking beautiful in her Novels by Z shirt, is my wonderful wife Z.
And you're listening to For Better or Worse. Bye,
Thank you guys for tuning in. See you guys next week. Bitch.